This is last. Alrighty, we will call this meeting to order, 6:04. We open with a word prayer. Lord, please come with us this evening as we come upon this hour. Thank you for the gorgeous weather. A little hot there for a while, maybe that made a few of us nervous, but this weather is very nice, and we thank you for that. Please be with us as we make decisions for this organization, that we can continue its good works and the good work that we all do together. That we ask in your name. Amen. Luke, are you here?
I am.
Tim,
I think so.
Doug,
Yes.
Becky? Here. And I am here. Is there anybody? I need a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll so move.
Is there support?
Support.
All those in favor of the approval of the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approval of the agenda. Is everything in order? Sarah? Jamie?
I'll make that
Yep.
motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? We have been approved. Looks like we have a little public tonight. Any comments from the public?
Go ahead, Gerald.
You're up, Jared.
Good evening, Jerry Miller. I'm a board director over in Kenton. As you may know, I'm also president of MACD. I try to attend other district meetings, some virtually and some in person. But and as some of you know, I did attend your field day last month up at Tim's Farm. It was a great event, and so I thought I'd sit in tonight and try to learn how your board gets your staff to do such outstanding work as they did for your field day, Chairman Matt. So pleased to, hopefully I can learn some new things tonight as I listen to your proceedings. Great job you did at your field day, all of you, your board and your staff. Thank you.
Thanks for being with us, Jerry. Is there any others?
Catherine, would you like to share any public comment?
Catherine Ristila Bass, resident of Holland. I just have always been interested in the OCD, and I've finally been able to attend. And thank you for doing the good work.
Thank you, Catherine.
Alrighty, I guess that moves us to staff highlights. Who's up?
Start back there.
Lots of staff.
My highlight this week was actually a field day at Tim's Farm. It's been really nice having the field days put on by me and Sarah. It is really given me a connection point with some of the farmers that I work with, and some of the other residents have shown up. There was a particular farmer that I invited last minute. Oh, we'll see what the day holds. And he came. And I saw him talking to a bunch of people. I'm like, oh, see. And it was in his neck of the woods. It was great. So thank you for hosting that.
Welcome.
Highlight for me, last month I attended the Michigan Invasive Species Coalition summer training, and that was in Southeast Michigan, and it was interesting, and I got to see things like spotted lanternfly and beach leaf disease, things that we haven't encountered here yet. So it's good to get eyes on those and learn from the SISMAs over there that are getting these problems before we'd have to deal with them.
Working on certifying practices and payments for contract holders and looking for easements, easements for this next year.
As everyone's mentioned, we had a successful field day at Tim's Farm, so thanks again, Tim, for hosting. We had a lot of partners and sponsorships for the event, so it turned out to be a good day for it. And then I also had 4 re-verifications in the meat program in middle of August, and we had a staff member from the Michigan Department of Ag come with us on that, so got to see kind of how conservation districts work alongside the meat program and other partner organizations.
Real quick, before we move on to any other, could you guys just say your name and title?
Oh.
So that the public can.
Yep. My name is Andrew Boer. I am the Conservation Technical Assistance Program Technician.
Megan Vanek, the Regional Conservation Partnership Program Project Manager.
Muriel Garbarino, coordinator of the West Michigan Cooperative and Basic Disease Management Area.
Tracy Weatherbash, the soil conservationist.
I'll go next. Sarah Bowman with the watershed programs, watershed and conservation specialist. Obviously my highlights, the field day, I thought it went really great. We had about 75 people show up. We had a senator come. So a lot of people had some good comments and feedback. They learned some things, had some good food. So that was fun. But my biggest, I guess, excited part of last month was doing all the bug identification for the macroinvertebrate samples surveys we've been doing. Last Friday, I was in Grand Rapids doing some bug ID with someone with Algro because they were kind of helping me, making sure I knew what bugs were what and identifying them correctly. And they had some cool tools and I was really nerding out about it. So that was really fun.
Ben Jordan, watershed coordinator. I think my highlights were kind of a mix of things. I had our quarterly reporting that got done and submitted. A lot of monitoring, like Sarah said, for bugs and also fish. I think the biggest personal highlight of mine was we found a pretty darn big brook trout in Norris Creek, which was very, very exciting when we went to the fish survey there. A lot of good stuff happened with the programs. We're gearing up for cover crops, so it was a lot of talking to landowners, getting ready for all that cost share going out in this next quarter, and just getting ready for the fall season. So, what?
Annalise Rassanen, bookkeeper. Nice having a full year under my belt and being able to help Jamie put together appropriations budget. Be more involved in that.
Oh, actually, I have one more. Sorry, that you actually pointed it out. My hire date yesterday was officially my 10th year here. So
Yes.
that's my start date, guys.
But you got hired.
I got you beat though.
You start fast. Apparently.
Be there tomorrow.
You're on 40 or where are you?
Staff updates.
Right. Well,
Did you forget Alex, or don't you have one?
He's not staff anymore.
Ah, sorry.
Did you do Ibrahim or?
Yeah.
He's on the agenda, so no.
yeah, we can have Ibrahim if you wanna just do a quick update.
Okay, quick updates.
And who are you and what do you do?
Ibrahim Kane, I'm the DC here in Ottawa County, for NRCS. This past month, NRCS has been working on a few obligations for different farm bill programs. Right now, we're working on CSP and EQIP. As of last week, all of the CSP applications have been obligated for about over 300,000 for this fiscal year. EQIP, we're still working on a few things, but there's one application still waiting for approval for a little bit over the $160,000. There are 2 ASAP ALE easements, I guess, in progress right now. Working towards those, finishing those out for the end of this fiscal year. Payments to farmers for Ottawa County through our programs. For August, there's been about $2,000 paid out to farmers just for various conservation practices that have been completed. Events and meetings the NRCS has been attending for the past month. We held the Ottawa Local Work Group meeting last week on August 27th, and we also had the Great Soul Help Cookout a few weeks back. Site visit highlights, we have been receiving a lot of new applications for applicants for CSP and EQIP for the new fiscal year. Deadline is coming up pretty soon. We haven't really been, I guess, given the exact deadlines, but usually it's around November. So we've been receiving a lot of good applications for these two programs over the past month or so. I guess goals for the upcoming month is to kind of get the rest of these applications modified or completed within probably 2 weeks or so. The fiscal year ends on September 30th, so we have a lot to work with, a lot of time to work with as far as the contracts that are currently active. We're also trying to complete certifications for current CSP applications, where there's tree shrub planting, cover crop. A few things are being certified in the next few months or so. We're working towards that. And also, we're working to submit all the rest of the applications that have been received in the past few months. And as far as the resources needed from the board from NRCS, again, there's none needed at this time. Everything's been running smoothly. But yeah, August, that's our August kind of recap for NRCS.
Thank you much. Do we have any questions on any of the reports or any of the written reports?
That I did when I reviewed them, and now I don't remember what it was, so apparently it was not that important.
Apparently not. That brings us to Jamie, Executive Director's Report.
Already in your report packet, mine's kind of the first one on there. And there's a loose paper in there that's like a half page. I'll hit on that in a minute. So just some main things. I know that you all had this report in advance, but been spending a good portion of the month really just hashing through the appropriations for FY26. Figuring out cash flow for the next year in terms of indirects and what grant opportunities we have coming in. Currently doing some planning and strategizing around the new NACD grant application that's coming out. And they basically doubled the funding available this year. So it's a great opportunity. I think it's 27 million. Is that right, Rivka? Yeah, 27 million. And then Ben has, with his incredible contacts at the county, we've been exploring what would it look like to have a cost share program that we were able to operate through the district for county residents, specifically related to watershed improvement, but also native plantings. And so we've kind of been exploring a proposal for them, and we have some meetings coming up around that. Terms of human resources, we're through almost all the staff evaluations. Muriel's sort of the last pending one for that. And then we've got sort of a loosely scheduled 90-day review from me on the calendar after we get through today's meeting. In terms of outreach and meetings, go ahead and read through that list on your own. There were a few conversations I want to highlight under special meetings that I think were really, really positive. So MDART has started a new program called Farm to Family, and it's their food systems program. It's a granting program. One of the largest recipients was Community Action House. And so they invited me to go do the check presentation with them and just to get to meet some of the folks running that program. And then I had a one-on-one with Cheyenne, who is the director of that program. And she asked just for some advisory thoughts on their next round of granting and what they're going to do as it relates to food systems. And they're also looking to collaborate with us on cultivating resilience. So I just made an introduction with Sarah today. But that's a pretty new program, and they're just sort of building out, what is this thing going to look like? How is it going to benefit farmers and local food systems? It's a pretty cool program. And their goal is to do a different set of grants each year. So this year it was really about food purchasing power from local organizations directly to farms. So that's what Community Action House's grant was. But then they're kind of looking at what should the next round be related to food systems. So just wanted to highlight that. It's a cool program. In terms of upcoming goals, again, just completing funding proposal for NACD, end of fiscal year staff reviews, and then looking at an end of year donation campaign. And there's a couple things I didn't drop in there that I just added in. We'll need to look at the annual business plan and rework that. So I have some ideas of where we're headed, but need to put that together. And then there was a note that I had, and you all will have to speak to this. What is the director oath of office document? Are you familiar with that?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah. I got that.
okay.
Is there something that you thought was timely? That's something that we take once someone is elected and we take.
Only when elected.
Yeah.
Okay, it was, so I have a schedule of things that take place in what month, and so I didn't know if that was relevant, but it was said September, we review director oath of office.
That may just be to confirm who's up for election in March. And
Okay.
because if you've seen it, and there's probably a timing thing so that you know, okay, it's September, we've got to have people get their petitions in by January, whatever, so they can run for election in March. So
Okay,
It may
Okay.
also be like a note to check in with MDR. Jack's on vacation this week, so he
Yeah.
can't speak to that, but I would, because they occasionally make updates to those documents, so.
okay, cool. Thank you for the clarity. And then the other task is just auditor planning and the audit, prepping for that. In terms of resources, just want to have a brief discussion. And Rivka, I know you're aware of this. The National Wildlife Federation is working on a project with MACD where they flagged like 4 to 6 districts that are doing exceptional work, doing things in a unique way. So as a district, we are one of the districts that they wanted to speak to. So that's what this email is about, basically 10 to 20 hour over the next 4 months. He gave us September 1st deadline. I wanted to wait to discuss it at the meeting. Just wanted to see if there was any resistance to us joining that. One of the unique things with Ottawa County Conservation District is that we have a great grant writing team. And so many of our programs are, as you know, are grant funded. And so I think there's some interest in how have we leveraged grants? How has that worked for the district? How has it helped us develop where we are today?
To be clear, this is actually an MDARD program that is part of the $250,000 appropriation of the state budget towards a research study.
Okay,
So
thank you for that.
and
addition.
NWF is the primary researcher. We are just like a participating partner
Okay,
as the representative for the conservation district.
great. Thank you.
I just feel it's relevant to mention that when this $250,000 was passed, it was intended to do a study on how conservation districts are funded to help us put together better plans. And somehow in the mix, it got transitioned to studying just good strategies and great best practices and cool programs, which is all great. We have a lot of those. But that wasn't the intent of this funding. It was really disappointing to hear that they weren't going to follow through on what they committed to when they originally passed the $250K. Like super disappointing.
Mhm.
That was so useful.
So how does that get off track?
It's a good question.
Who oversees that?
MDR.
Got it.
Yeah. So, sorry, I
Great.
just wanted to. bring it
Yeah,
in.
No, that's helpful.
Yeah,
That's
you
very
figured that out right there, don't we?
So this will be really, it's really cool to participate in. There'll be great ideas, I think, to come out of the study, but really not the usefulness that a study on funding.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we can still kind of, through the process of the study, redirect it back to its original purpose and how we're shaping the narrative, which is one of the reasons it's good that MACD is involved, because we can kind of provide a little bit of a nudge in that direction. But yeah.
Yeah, so that was my only comment. I just thought the need to point that out.
Yeah, I see it as 2 ways. 1, celebrating the work that we're doing at our district level, and then 2, continuing to have a voice at a state level where we can communicate, hey, we're here, this is what we're doing, but also sometimes we're scratching and clawing to survive. So
It definitely is a tool that we can,
Jerry just made a comment. I
yeah,
just-
I'm about to say, I was
Yes.
about-
It was really cool.
It definitely is a tool that we can utilize with legislators to help demonstrate what well-funded districts are able to accomplish, for sure.
Right.
And what some of those limitations around funding are, so.
any resistance to that, or I just wanted to run it through the directors, make sure. you-
Zero resistance here.
Okay, great. All right, that concludes what I have, unless you have specific questions about any items here in my report.
Just wanted to mention to you that Jerry said the oath of office stuff is in the MDR manual, so you
Perfect.
can see what it says.
Perfect. Thank you, Jerry.
And just remind me, as it relates to the annual business plan, is it next fall that we're gonna be doing the next NRA, or is it, when are we doing that? When are we scheduled for that?
So it's actually, the plan, I just pulled it up today, ends the 30th, 9/30/25.
Is that
Okay,
a
well, that's
3 or
unfortunate.
5-year?
It's a 5-year.
Okay.
I had it, and well, anyway, yeah, we need to get crack-a-lacking on that and make
Yep.
it a really robust one, so, okay.
We were finishing that right when I got started. And it is a 5-year plan, so it does surprise me that it's 25 rather than 26, so we might wanna.
Yeah, let's just
verify that.
explore that.
Okay.
I somehow thought maybe we had time going in 26. Let's look at that, because that's a pretty onerous survey and it takes a lot of pre-gaming to get that and get that data back and put the report together.
Great.
So hopefully it's 26, but either way, we'll get that tackled.
Any questions for Jamie? Now Alex can talk.
All right.
Trying to get you there, buddy. Yeah, partner highlight.
Yeah, so, I guess for the folks on the line, my name's Alex Swoboda. I'm the field coordinator for the regenerative ag program for West Central region of Michigan. It's gonna be back here in my old stomping ground. So, just gonna give you guys kind of a program update overview, very briefly, of what we've been doing, what we plan to be doing. So I joined MDR back in October, and we were tasked with creating a program from absolutely nothing. So the goal of our regenerative ag program is to provide tools and resources for farmers so they can adopt more regenerative agriculture practices and ultimately have more profitable farming systems across the board. So to start out with, we developed a soil health assessment, which we looked at partners from across the country and what we liked, what we didn't like, and some existing soil health assessments. So ones that come to mind are like MSU Extension, Cornell, NRCS has one that I got to use when I was working for them. And so we took pieces and parts that we thought would be easily transferable to commodity crops in Michigan, and then also things that could be easily taught through our conservation technicians to farmers on the ground. So we came up with our iteration number 1 for this field season, and that looks at different soil health principles and the actual like tangible in the field things that you'd be looking for if you're on a farm. So has basically just a shovel test and looking at the different indicators in there. Andrew's been doing it, had a degree of success, I think, and folks are pretty responsive to it. We got to do it at Tim's Field Day, and I thought that sparked up really a lot of really great conversations. To complement that, we're working with Cornell University Soil Health Lab to do soil health sampling. So the idea here is that we have our visual subjective test in the field where we can learn the indicators, and then we can translate that to a little more data-based approach and say, is what we're seeing in the field, is that being indicated here in these soil samples? So what makes them different from a standard NPK test is we're looking for active carbon. So the amount of available organic matter in the soil that's easily available for the microbiological community to cycle and break down and provide to the plants. That's the biggest difference in our kind of basic package. We're looking at how compaction implicates different soil health parameters too. That's been a new addition. And so you have those two resources there. It paints a different picture for farms that they might not already have with their standard monitoring programs. And it's all meant to be context driven. So it's farm specific. It's not prescriptive. So we're not going out and saying, we're seeing this indicator do X, Y, Z. So our goal is to create something that is adaptable to all crops, all commodities across the state, all soil types, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of our in-field stuff. We are working on a grant called Regenerative Farmer Network Grant. This is being put together by Will Chakunda. He's my partner or collaborator on this, our program And the goal of the grant is to get like-minded farmers together in groups of 5 or more who are wanting to experiment or try something new in the regenerative ag space, whether that's conservation practice, whether that's marketing strategy, anything that's going to further their business and farming operations and regenerate their soil. So we're hoping this is going to be out still this fall. It's at the director's desk for approval at this point. So once that comes out, those groups will need a fiduciary of some sort, an admin. So conservation districts are going to be obviously an eligible partner in that. We've got a regenerative farm demo site we're putting together as well at the VFW National Home for Children in Eaton Rapids. That site, we're in year 1. So we cover cropped it last fall with rye. We did some roller crimping experiments out there this year. We've got a vegetable commodity demo site with some veterans who are out there getting hands-on training of how to become farmers and hopefully take on their own operations in the near future. So lots of things that we're working on. I wish I could share more grant updates. I'm not heavily involved in that piece and those final decisions, but if there's any questions about the program or other stuff going on that I can shed light on, I'd be happy to answer that. So,
Thank you, Alex.
absolutely.
Any questions for Alex?
And tackle at this meeting, but looking forward to learning more and seeing the assessments and.
Yeah, I think we're excited to see all this data come in from our soil sampling and learn what our technicians were learning in the field this year and translate that into updates with next field season. So, do you feel like you know what your job is now? No. It's something new every day. So that's good though. It is good. It's a lot of meeting people and traveling around the state and getting to see some really cool farming systems being put into practice that I hadn't seen before. So it's been a lot of fun.
Brings us up to the finance committee. Can I give a report, Doug? Of the finance committee, what they've been up to? Seems like just one thing is all we've been up to for 2 months.
Well, we had our finance meeting, which got cut a little short because of me, because we were there an hour and a half. I had to leave for another. But we had another one last week, Friday. We talked about the budget, both days, work agreements, and staff contracts that we have or grants. Well, we went through quite a bit.
I guess most of what you'll see from finance committee basically is the appropriations budget. So that,
Where's that?
Yeah.
Profit and loss.
It'll be,
Towards the end of
budget is where,
yep.
Got it.
Do we want to go ahead and go through P and L and
I was gonna say, let's do I guess, can we do the financial packet? Say pay the bills or do that first and then go back to the budget?
I think, yeah.
I think that's gonna be the easiest way to put our hands around it. So, does anybody see any issues with paying the bills? We have a motion anyway to talk about paying the bills. How's that?
I make a motion to pay the bills.
Is there a second?
I'll second it. It was at 5 times.
And discussion? Is there anything that jumps out at anybody? Annalise, is there anything that's crazy this month?
I mean, the total bill, that bill's SAC says 98,000 some odd dollars. Just want to point out that 83,000 of it is coming out of the water monitoring money, so that's coming out of the other.
I have a couple questions, and maybe it doesn't relate to paying the bills, but it's involved. The board payment, I understand why mine is less, but my question is, why is there such a variation between the other board members?
Mileage.
Mainly mileage?
I
We all
didn't
get paid the
realize,
same.
right, I didn't realize there was mileage calculated. I thought it was just a flat rate.
per person.
No,
Okay.
you get mileage. It's always been there.
So,
Always.
so it's guys
Well,
that
maybe
live
if we got
farther away,
paid more once a year, you'd realize it.
that's
Huh?
more.
Yeah.
So it's guys that live farther away that gets
Correct.
Mhm.
Okay, and then the mileage and expense reimbursement from the district of Jamie, $509. Is that normal or is that excessive or is that? I don't know. I'm just asking a question. It just caught my attention.
Yeah, that's, that would be for like a month and a half of driving to meetings and things like that. So, I mean, I would,
He takes his own personal car.
Yeah.
So that's just the reimbursement is, and we've had this discussion how many times? That's just the X amount per mile, correct?
Yep.
yes,
Okay. Pay the-
70
70
The
cents.
US.
Yep.
Yep.
During summer, all of our district vehicles are being used by field staff, so.
Gotcha. Okay, and the credit card, $3,000, is that that's normal? That's a normal amount?
It's
Okay.
actually light a little bit.
Yeah.
10-4, that's all I got on that report.
I like that Tim asks questions. Whenever I present financials to a board, I like people to ask questions. It's always a good thing.
Well, I didn't think he's looking at it.
It's a good thing.
Good. No.
On
Speaking
the
of
questions, just out of curiosity. If Tim lives farther than me and I don't take mileage, are you missing too many meetings, Tim? Why are you only 378?
Cause he don't. take
Wow,
for the
Jamie
meeting.
will answer that.
he is donating that to the district.
Oh,
The
the,
difference.
the per diem.
Yep, the per
Okay,
diem.
so you don't
Yep.
have per diem. Good on you.
I said, I'm trying to get the conservation district in the black.
Thanks,
I
Tim.
said, ask the rest of the board members, they can help too. I
Yeah.
don't know where that went.
I think my mileage is probably wrong.
I calculated off the address that you had.
I
you had
know,
for you,
which
so
I
was like,
probably need to change. That's what made me aware of like,
Just
hey,
move closer just to help out. Budget rate.
yeah, I just walk now.
Perfect.
I wanted to make a quick comment / question on the Verizon. Did you see the email that MACD sent out regarding Verizon? Offering new governmental pricing?
Yeah, we changed already, so it's great. It's like
Excellent.
about half
Yes.
of what we've been paying.
Yeah, it's a pretty significant.
yeah, the next one will,
drop.
the next Verizon bill that we get will reflect that completely, so that will change.
How do
that.
I get on that plan?
Work for the government.
I do every day.
They probably got an agricultural. fund.
You don't get a W-2 though, Tim. That's
From the government,
problem.
no.
And you may or may not want one.
Nah,
I'd stay where you're at.
thank you.
Anybody else have any questions on the bills? Becky?
I do not.
Really?
I just asked one. Would you like me to ask more?
No.
Um, Usually the Canva cost is in the list of the Adobe, Intuit, MailChimp, Spotify.
That might have gotten cut off, if I'm honest. That might have just not made.
It's just
But
not
yeah.
on the list, but
But
it's
it is
not,
also
it's part of that total.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all like the subscriptions line,
Yep.
basically. Yep.
Yeah, and that'll be the same in the appropriations budget. When we shrunk it to like fit on one page,
Mhm.
it cuts off our list a little bit.
Well, if there is no more discussion, we shall bring it to a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
That's a roll call vote for Ms. Conlon.
Well, Becky, how do you vote?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Rivka?
Yes.
It's like we pay the bills. So do we want to do? I guess I'd take care of the cash flow forecast and then bounce back to the budget.
Yeah.
That sound good?
Everybody take a look at it. I don't know. You guys should know, I guess, by now what it is showing you, but. Anything in yellow, I guess, is the reimbursements that we're waiting on from those grants. Green is what we received, and this I printed out this morning because we did receive one yesterday that hadn't been on there yet.
Now, you guys mentioned in our meeting Tracy's grant,
Yes.
still way in the red.
Yep, so 30, that's the 33,000 you see on the far right is what we're
So
waiting
they
for.
haven't paid,
So that is,
so we got
Come in
33
October.
grand out there.
Is that a reason for that, or is that just
So
held
they
up
cha-
and?
yeah, they changed their reporting system mid-grant. And so then by the time the reporting got organized and we got back in the system, we basically submitted two amounts at 16,000. the person who is administering the program thought that we submitted the same one twice.
Gotcha.
And so she kicked it out. We didn't know that until additional conversation of why is the money not coming through yet? That's when we discovered, she's like, oh, I just assumed that. So anyway, now we're back on track. And we're actually closing out that grant. Before the end of it should be closed at what, October, Tracy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So all the money will be there.
Promise?
Promise as much as I can promise.
So.
We're good on our end.
October? Yeah, I thought that was to the end of the year.
It will, but they're letting us close it out in advance. They're letting us finalize the final quarter of the grant, which will be done in December.
And is the 98K that we just, is that tied to meeting dates, the 108,000 in all bills? Is the 98K we just passed tied to that?
Yep.
What's the other 10K? Was that just rough numbers?
Yeah, so that, like our monthly, what we pay every month that we don't vote on, or, you know, we.
Oh,
but like
okay,
those
those
ones are equate to about
pre-approved.
10,000.
Okay,
Yep.
got you. Thank you. I've never been friends with this spreadsheet. I really don't care. I've just never been friends. with
No,
it.
I don't.
That's the rent and the vehicle payments and things like that.
Fixed costs.
To be fair, it's kind of hard if you're not looking at it all the time.
Reoccurring every month.
Very useful for me.
I've been looking at it for 15+ years and I still go. I wait for someone to explain it.
So does the finance people get it?
Yeah, we did ask Annalise and Jamie to shoot off some red flags if people are late again like this, because we just found out last week, or the week before, that there was 30 grand behind.
Well, so who covers that until they pay?
We do.
We have.
Yeah, the district has been
We do.
covering it.
Charges people interest or late fees or?
I wish we could.
Oh, we don't do business here.
Yeah, but you want to get your money before you.
Yeah.
pull. Okay, hold on.
I have a quick question.
Mhm.
This top number, is that the total amount of, what is that reflecting?
The amount in the bank account,
Okay,
essentially.
okay.
Savings and checking combined.
So do we have any, I'm gonna ask a really annoying question. I apologize in advance. How are we tracking our total spend versus total available in the grant? So we ensure we're not leaving money on the table for things that, like, if we are not spending enough in a category, we have more money in this grant that we have applied for, that we're getting, but we haven't used as many like staff hours or as much mileage reimbursement or funds for professional development, et cetera, that we could be billing to the grant.
Yeah.
How are we tracking that available funds to spend so that we're not leaving money?
So
out
each, yeah,
Send it
so
back.
each program, the person that is point for the grant meets with Annalise in terms of invoicing, but also I'm involved in those conversations. And if we see that, for example, this is how we figured out that the CTAP grant had extra funds in it, and we were able to reapproach MDARD. It was just looking at the overall grant total, what have we expensed, when does the grant end? And so, but there's a regular meeting between Annalise and the person that's point on the grant. And then I just jump in and ask lots of questions to make sure, because I do not also like to leave money on the table.
Most
So-
of our individual grants have running financial spreadsheets. too,
Right,
that
yeah.
Show total
Okay.
grant amounts. And I think the one I just closed for one of our watershed grants, which was basically $1 million grant, we had 1 cent left over. It was just
Good
a
job.
round thing. So, yeah,
Show
we don't leave money on the table. We'll spend it on whatever we
Just
get.
make
back.
Yeah, and that's always an ongoing conversation with the team, like. Even on Tracy's grant, we had $401 that we had to have like accounted for, and so we want to get down to 0 or 1 cent if we can. So,
I think that's about.
1 cent's not too bad.
Unfortunately.
We'll allow it. Pennies don't matter anymore anyway, right? So.
great, thanks for that.
now we can jump back to the draft appropriation. How do we gotta handle public comments and such there? Jamie, help me out with.
I have a
And
quick,
do we need a motion to discuss it? I guess
No,
straight out.
the public hearing comes before you move to approve it. So you have to open a public
Yep.
hearing. Offer, take public comment, then close the public hearing, and then we put it on the table.
quick procedural question. I'm assuming that the budget that is presented in here was available to the public prior to today.
And I was also gonna say, which paper did you put it in?
We didn't put it in a paper. Which I know we have to do.
Okay.
Are we able to have the budget meeting at all then, without it being in the paper?
No. According to MDAR's blurb that they
I-
put in here.
yeah,
I
I-
should have followed up on that because that's a me thing.
Our meeting,
We may not,
due to the second meeting, we couldn't get it in the time frame that.
Right, but he needed
has to be 6
five,
days.
6
Yeah,
days.
because that's right, because that's.
But
a
we didn't put it in
violation
a
of the
paper anyway.
Meetings Act. Right, but that means we're not able to have the
We can-
budget meeting.
Yeah, so we'll have to call a
Because-
special. We can discuss this discussion and we can't vote on it.
Correct.
We'll have to call a special prior to October 1 and pass it and just.
Was it
make sure.
available on our website and all that?
Mhm.
Did we not post it on the door or is it just the website?
It's website and social.
MDAR's
So why do
guidance.
we
I
have-
didn't know
why
until I
can't-
read MDAR.
It's required per the Open Meetings Act. So there are some parts of the Open Meetings Act that are kind of antiquated. We continuously are trying to advocate for them to bring that up into the 21st century. And, you know,
So
that-
you're saying it's gotta be in a newspaper?
yeah,
And who picks the newspaper?
well, we can pick whatever newspaper we want, I think.
Yeah.
We just have to.
Observer.
Well, it's like our election.
Has to be, right, it has to be one in our county, obviously. We couldn't put it in the Detroit
But if
News.
you do Coopersville, you gotta do Holland.
Let's just say, we don't have a
But
newspaper that covers the
Advance,
county.
is Advance still out?
No.
The past for election
have to
stuff,
put it
we've just put
in the
stuff in the Grand Haven,
In Grand
in
Haven?
the Tribune, yeah.
Because that's not how people learn of these things. It's just an archaic
It's a
piece that we
formality,
have to
yeah.
do per statute.
Yeah, I saw that on the list and we discussed that finance, but unfortunately we didn't get the
Yeah, it was
budget
just on
done.
Friday.
Yeah.
So we can discuss it, but we can't actually approve the
Yeah,
budget.
we can treat it as a discussion and we cannot vote because we did not publicly post it properly.
Can we have a virtual meeting?
Is that correct, Mr.
No,
Miller?
because that's in violation of the Open
You have to
Meetings
be
Act.
present to vote.
But if we open it to something like what we're doing right now.
In COVID, why can't we do like that?
Because the Open Meetings Act was changed and when they reverted it, they messed it up. And so now we can't do it.
Trust me, this is a point of advocacy ongoing, because particularly up in the UP, they regularly have to cancel meetings due to weather. Because public can be online, but directors have to be present in person to vote. That's why last year,
That's
when
why
I
I
had to
would vote.
miss a meeting because I was at a regional meeting, I was able to join and participate in the discussion, but I wasn't allowed to vote on any decisions for that meeting because I wasn't in person.
So we'll just have to set up a quick meeting to vote on it and just ensure that that is put
So
in the
does the
news.
public comment need to occur at that meeting?
Well,
or
that's
does
what I
it
was just
occur
gonna
right
say.
now?
We probably will want to post another public hearing. So it's a good,
Yep.
a good point that you make. I was having the same thought that we'll want to hold another public hearing.
Yeah.
That the paper that, the ad we put in the paper won't bring anybody into, which is the thing we have to do to be compliant. Because otherwise, you know, you could say that we're spending money that we did not appropriate because we didn't follow statute.
Correct.
As annoying as and archaic as that is, that's what it is.
Well, then where does that leave us for this evening?
So I think we can have a discussion about the proposed budget as it is, answer any questions. And then we'll take that, I'll put it into a public, put it in the paper, Grand Haven Tribune, and then we'll set up an additional public hearing and special meeting.
Can't wait till the next meeting.
No, because
Yeah,
we're
we
not
don't
allowed
work.
legally to spend money starting October 1 if we do not appropriate it.
Yep.
So this acts
has to be
appropriates
funded.
funding, and if we spend a dime,
Can we do it next week, Tuesday?
Nope.
Nope.
I'll be in the UP. Well, we won't have a quorum because I'll be in the UP.
Mr. Chairman, can we move October's meeting to the end of September and cancel all of them?
That's what I was thinking.
I can't make it.
that's fine. We can, if we, the four of us can, we can still have a quorum and vote.
What, I mean, it don't have to be on a Tuesday. At this point, we can call any time, day of the week that we
Can all can agree on.
deem fit.
We can do that outside of the business meeting too. If we like at the end, we can determine what day works the best and let Jamie know, and he can work from there. And we can finish the business meeting and then.
Well, how do we do that
that out.
outside this meeting with all of us sitting, trying to put that together? We can't be together outside of this meeting, can we not?
As long as you're not making a decision or discussing the merits or faults.
We
of the
can,
choice
we
we're
can
going
just
to make.
talk about it.
All right, I just want,
Yeah, we can talk a bit about it.
this is a little bit of a dot the I cross the T. I just wanted to make so we
Yeah.
weren't in violation on that end.
That's always
All right.
to be abundantly cautious.
So can we pick a meeting date?
No,
do it after
gotta
the
do,
business meeting.
gotta do it after,
Oh,
she
So,
says.
for the
Do it
interest of
right
all
now.
the staff that are here. that don't
Yeah, I
get
was gonna say,
Okay,
Jerry just confirmed that that was just COVID, that you could do virtual and now it's back to
Mhm.
in person.
it's up to the board. Do we want to pick a date now? If we can do it in less than 2 minutes, let's do it.
Boy, I don't keep it on my phone.
I
but
have
let's
the
just.
29th, 22nd, 23rd, and 29th available.
The
talking
22nd,
an evening, correct?
23rd, There'll be
I-
theater director
Again,
training out of town.
this can be whenever.
You can't do the 30th?
I'll be on an airplane.
What
Okay.
day of the week is, there's the
30th is on a Tuesday, 29th is a Monday.
The 29th I could do in the evening.
I'll make 29 work. I have to miss something else, but I'll make it work.
I'll have to leave an event early, but I can do that.
Cool, thanks.
So we're looking at 29th
Does that work for you, Mr. Hale?
at 7 o'clock,
Sure.
Sure.
7 o'clock here.
Yep.
29th. Done.
Wait a minute, you want me at 7, we meet at 6?
That's why I just asked, 7
It's a
o'clock to
special.
work.
Okay.
This
Seven
is gonna be
definitely
a
is
really
fine, 'cause
short
I'll be
meeting.
driving from Detroit, so.
Oh, okay, all right.
Cause I'm assuming, will we have, I mean, this is in 2.5 weeks. Will we, can we just maybe cut out the reports?
Yeah, 10-4, can we do it abbreviated October meeting
Oh, I
on
can't-
that?
Sorry.
Cause we can't do financials.
Yeah, the
theoretically.
main thing we need to get accomplished is just an approval, so I can submit it to.
We'll,
Yeah, I
we'll do
can't
the
make it,
minutes just
so
because that keeps it
That's
simple.
cool. I
So
looked at my thing, I don't come back to it first, so. 30th, I mean, so sorry, I thought I had a free day there, cause I didn't have it marked out, but I'll be gone.
we can still meet on the 29th if the.
Yeah,
board
the
is
four of
there.
us are
That's
available,
what I
we
do,
quorum.
No,
But in
no.
order to, like, in the interest of getting this done, 4 is a quorum, as long as.
And if all the
You don't come up with a
discussion is
norovirus or
happening
something.
tonight,
Yep.
hopefully you guys can sort of come to an agreement of where you're at.
Yeah.
True.
So you're gone every day in between now and then.
No, I had the 23rd, Rivka's gone,
Mhm.
23rd, 24th. Right,
Well,
All right,
22nd,
22nd.
22nd, 23rd.
So 29th, 7 PM, we'll do a special meeting. I'll put that in the paper with the proposed budget. We can do a lot of the front end work
25th.
right
Wait a
now.
second.
What about the 25th?
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
We
it's
got
only
next
a
week.
week and a half.
That's
We got
far
next-
as the tapas event. I'm assuming some of us.
But I will be the only
one.
one that will be absent, so if you wish to meet that night, you may, because you'll.
Well,
still
I
have
was
a
gonna
quorum.
go.
Which
but-
one?
Pardon me?
Which one?
Don't have to, I guess.
I'm still going too.
Okay, let's
What
split
about
the
next,
20.
what about the 16th, 17th? Open,
We
I
have
need to be in
just
the
has to be
UP.
6 days from now.
yeah, for 6 days.
That's pretty hard to combine an October meeting a week from now.
Well, I had-
But we could still
we can
cancel
still,
October if we don't
we
have
can,
business.
yeah, if we can
You know,
cancel.
there's no business items.
We're just coming for the budget.
So where are we?
I'm okay with 16.
16 is. the
29
County
works.
Farm Bureau annual meeting, which I can skip, but we can do that.
Yeah, I won't be here because I'll be in UP, but
You'll be
Doug
gone?
can be here, so let's stop for him.
Mr. Chairman,
Anybody over?
take your pick.
Well, if we did the night of the 16th, and what about a 4 o'clock
Thank you. That's
prior
what I do.
to,
Not on a Tuesday.
okay,
I have a meeting up until 4.
15
oh,
and 16,
5
does
o'clock,
that work for you?
6 o'clock. I mean,
7 o'clock would be better, 6 will maybe.
I'm just trying to get around the Farm
15 or
Bureau.
17, are either of those? days
17's good.
The
I'm open on 17th.
The 15th, I would actually still be here. I'm not leaving till the 16th, so we could all be
Is that
present
enough
if we
days?
did it the 15th.
No.
So tomorrow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's exactly 6. You'd have to post it in the morning.
Is that doable?
On what day?
The 15th.
That's doable for me.
I don't know how the
No.
paper
No.
runs.
No, I wouldn't
I was
push it
gonna
that
say,
close.
you gotta give it a couple weeks, I think,
29.
based on their run cycle usually.
Yeah, you know what? I had to post a notice and it takes, you have to give them at least 10 days.
Yeah.
So we're back to the 29th.
So we have to do the 29th.
Yeah.
That's- we are
Yeah.
not- And you have to call them tomorrow.
Yep.
Both things have to happen.
Yep.
You have to request a rush.
Fortunately, I ran a newspaper, so I do know how miserable that
What
is.
time of the day do you want to meet?
You said 7.
7 PM, 29th.
Ciao.
Good job, team.
All right.
But we can, it should be quick, because if we can get through just our conversation around.
Do we not need a motion to discuss the budget?
Yes, I think you do.
I would assume,
No?
Nope, it can be a discussion item as long as we don't vote.
Mhm.
So that's like, there's things like policy where you have to have a first reading and a second reading that provides opportunity to discuss and weigh it all out, but you don't necessarily vote, so.
all right, does anybody have any problem with appropriation budget?
I
Sweet.
have questions.
Oh.
Yeah, I had questions too, so I'll go ahead.
No.
Okay, you spoke first, you're up.
I'd love to just comment real quick on the order of documents here. Yeah. So the,
Maybe Jamie can introduce it, or the finance team can introduce it.
You don't have a chance to look at it again.
so the order of documents here is the district appropriations plus programs.
Which is
So
what?
it's this one.
Yeah.
Okay. Then the next document you'll see, this is fiscal year 25 with what indirects we've brought in and the budget. And then the next one is just the district budget for fiscal year 26.
So the middle one is a 25, 26 side by side, basically?
It's 25, but I wanted to show what we brought in terms of indirects and district funds for fiscal year 25. So you can put these two next to each other.
I
if
didn't
you
see
want.
that on your email. Was that on your email?
Yes.
Oh, I missed it, sorry.
Yeah, I did a second round to include that because Becky pointed out that it would be nice to be able to review that as well.
Okay.
When we put this, something like this together, can we like number a page so we can say page 1 and 3 and 7?
Sure can.
That would help us navigate around.
Yep.
I think a little nicer instead of going, it's that third sheet with the green
That
numbers
looks
on
like
it.
X.
Thank you.
Sure. Yep.
I gotta keep it simple.
I get you.
It was simple. Okay. Rivka, did you have any questions?
I have a whole load of them, but my first question is, how are we representing balance forward for 26? Because there is remaining funds at the end of FY 25. That's
Mhm.
pretty significant, $93,000. What of that, if anything, is actually allocated, that it's, a prepaid expense that is not transitioning over from one fiscal year to another, and that's what it is, and what is that actual balance carried forward? And then how are we incorporating that balance forward into our FY 26 appropriations?
So the closest thing we have to that is the program / district sheet, which at the bottom has beginning fund balance and end fund balance at the end of fiscal year 26.
So the budget forward is $158,745.37. Is that correct?
It will be at the end of fiscal year 26.
So that is representative of available cash on hand funds that are don't have to be paid out to anything. That's a balance forward that is from residual, indirect, et cetera. So that means we have a cash position at the end of the fiscal year of $158,745.37. Is that accurate?
Annalise would-
$45,000. is what's coming into this fiscal year.
Yeah.
The 158 is projected to the end of the fiscal
Ne-
year.
yeah, next September,
145 is what's
September.
projected to be residual
Okay.
coming
Yeah.
into the.
So our budget balance forward then is that $145,000.
Correct.
That's our
Yes.
cash position starting the beginning of the fiscal year of available cash funds that aren't obligated anywhere.
Yes, correct.
I got a question. Is that what Megan used to call our close the door funds?
No,
No?
Mm-mm.
So where does that, I'm with Rivka just a little bit, where does that money go at the end of 25?
So when you're, Annalise could answer this better than me. That number is a composite of what is available in savings one and checking.
Yep. Is any of that deferred revenue that is obligated to anything?
This would be after projected expenditures for Q4.
Mhm.
So otherwise, no, it's available funds. We have the two savings accounts. One is like cost share, what we would hold, that's savings two, that's for watershed.
Mhm.
And then we have savings one and then checking, which is our available funds.
What is savings one? Is that the rainy day fund?
no,
Mm.
that's our
That's our. official
everyday
operating budget.
operations.
So
We
where's-
made two, so when they started the Ottawa County thing, we didn't get that messed up.
So what is savings two?
That's what savings two is.
The rainy day fund?
No,
The
No,
Ottawa
it's
County. money,
Ottawa
the big
County
chunk.
money,
So that is deferred revenue.
Monsanto's
Savings
one.
two is
Gotcha.
deferred revenue.
Yes,
savings two is in here though. Right?
Right, and is not
Yeah.
included in that 145,000,
it
correct?
is not.
We have $2,000 in savings two for our savings.
that's
Well,
our-
yes, but in reality, $145,000 is operational funds that we're able to draw from at any given time. So when we have, times we're waiting on payments coming in,
Correct.
it's not like our starting position is zero. We're starting with $145,000.
That's how
that
we
we
can
can
flow
borrow.
the 33,000 that we're
Correct.
waiting on
Yeah.
That's why,
Correct.
state to pay us.
Yes.
And that's how we're able to, in this case, we'll be, of course, floating most of Q1. And then we'll get reimbursed back for that. But yes, that's what that will allow us to float Q1.
I just know that it's been a discussion point of a lot of concern about cash flow in the past. So I want to be really clear about what our starting cash flow position
Yes, thank you.
is going into the discussion about the rest of the budget.
this year's a little bit better than
Yeah.
previous.
You can breathe.
Yep. So we'll be in a good position to carry through Q1 before reimbursements come in.
I just want to take a minute, having kind of walked this path, compliment Jamie and Annalise on ramping up. I mean, Appropriations Act is a complicated document. It doesn't match anything else we do or how we allocate funds. We basically have to conjure it with all the information to make all the numbers fit in the right buckets.
Yes.
And you've not been here a long time. There's a lot of moving parts. So I just appreciate the effort you've put into this to make this a good, clear document. It is not easy. and it's fun.
We are trying
That's what
very
I
hard to
know.
do that. Yep. So do you feel good on your
On
question?
that question, yeah, I mean, I have a ton of questions, but everybody always says I talk too much, so everybody else can answer,
No,
ask their
this is-
questions
You've never
first.
said that out
This,
loud.
this is a good, this is the space to get crystal clear, I
I
think,
want to give Tim space
on
to
what we're
like
looking at.
ask his
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah, why don't you guys take turns?
Yeah,
Why don't you
okay,
let Tim-
go for it, Tim.
My dazzlers, take these in the right way because I'm not a numbers guy, but I try to watch numbers.
Mhm.
Tree sales, you got 28,000.
Correct.
Is that a net or a gross number?
That would be
That's our profit.
profit, so that would be net.
That's higher than normal, isn't it?
You know, well, that was.
I always thought that was a $5,000 or $6,000 sale.
It's
gross.
been-
Yeah.
6
It's
years
grown.
ago, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they have,
So this is a realistic number we can put in.
Correct.
Yes.
Yep, our
Correct.
rocking
Okay.
staff.
And we've got multiple years of data to suggest that it'll be the same, if not increase even more.
Okay, what's the annual campaign?
I'm
7,500.
sorry, Tim, what do you have right there?
I'm going off, I printed this off my computer.
Oh, okay, so it's just, all right, so I have it then. So
Just black and white.
What is the annual campaign at 70,000? I didn't know what that was. That's a-
So the annual campaign is every year we receive a bunch of donations, whether it's for raising money for a vehicle that got crushed. So I would like to do 2 annual campaigns with a hope that we would draw in 7,500. But just so we clarify, that's not included in the overall income. Everything from not counted towards operating budget total below is not included as
That's
potential
hopeful.
income. Yeah, that's hopeful. That's aspirational.
That's the wish,
Perfect.
the wish end of it.
That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Mhm.
Okay, and then go away to the right, the district budget.
Mhm.
Just doing some calculation. We got executive director at 69. We got a bookkeeper fringe. We got a director fringe. If you add that all up, put your salary fringes, her salary and fringes together, I come up with 146,573.
Okay,
In my simple little mind, are we overstaffed? Megan used to do both and we paid her about 80,000, if I remember right. That's a question for everybody.
She used to do both and she didn't really have capacity to do keep track of everything she needed to keep track of.
Okay, but I don't wanna be a penny pincher. Do we need to spend 146,000 to get those 2 jobs done?
We also have a significantly higher budget than we did even 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And every single additional grant, additional thing that we're budgeting
Takes time.
for, takes more time to administer, which is why there's indirect included in those grants that cover administration.
right.
You don't think of the fringe being that high. That's the kicker. Because like, I think when Megan left, what she was making about 73 maybe,
Yeah, I just put 80, but yeah,
and then that's without fringe.
okay.
Or with Natalie around that,
I'd have to
Two.
go back
Close
and
to,
look.
without
So I
fringe,
remember
yeah,
that.
below that, but yeah. Right,
Correct, yes.
we
You are.
hired
They
Jamie
were.
in at 70. But yeah, it's high,
It's a lot of money.
but that's more than we've ever paid.
The
And
theory,
we've never had a bookkeeper either.
the theory is we burned out the last 2 executive directors, trying to keep all them balls in the air.
Mhm.
So, one, we've had this discussion several times, bringing on the new director was gonna have to be more fundraiser, more,
Mhm.
take care of some of the other, and then he needed some time freed up. That person needed time freed up, i.e. the bookkeeper / accounting help of it. And with Annalise, kind of fell into that. So that was our theory on why we have, now 2 staff, doing the same job. Hopefully we've grown, instead of milking 50 cows, now we're milking 100 cows, but
I
we've
know
grown.
what efficiencies to milk 200 with the same
Correct,
guy.
and we're hoping, we're hoping to get efficiency out of it.
You have no same guy.
No.
So,
So
but-
that, in theory, yes, I understand what you're saying, and it scares the heck out of me too, coming off almost, a part-time secretary / 100 years ago here to this crew
I get it.
is daunting. So yes, it ain't a little podunk conservation district anymore. It's a full-flung machine that's putting out awesome, right, Jerry? Awesome, results at, field days and such. So yeah,
Okay.
to answer your question, yes, 2 very highly paid people, but 2 very, I'm gonna say very complicated, sticky, thorny jobs that they have to keep.
And I would say too, in comparison, as far as their roles as in the general marketplace of what average salaries are for those positions, we are still on the lower side.
And I'm way up.
So you make a lot more than that?
Yes, we
We
are.
won't talk,
We've
you can
had
talk
that
to Sherry about
discussion.
it. No,
I was
we
trying
won't
to
talk
throw,
about
I was
it,
trying
but
to throw a plug in there, because I
Thanks.
know he's sitting.
Thanks,
there.
Doug. No, I mean, the average, when we evaluated this 3 years ago for Megan, the average executive director salary for a nonprofit executive director was around 80,000 at that point. Now it's more like 120,000. present day salary wages.
Plug
So,
Jamie's ears, will you?
No, I knew this already.
He knows, I'm
It
sure he
depends
knows.
what
I've been
conservation
consulting
district
with
you're in.
Well,
nonprofits. for a
I
long
mean, that's nonprofits. Nonprofits are pretty comparable as far as like the workload and the.
But
type
show me
of
where it comes from. We
things
are not a
there.
nonprofit theoretically. We're a government entity
Correct.
that,
So
so,
we're grant funded. So it's, the funding source is similar.
okay.
Government actually, that doesn't have a little higher pay scale than nonprofits too.
Yeah,
So if you want.
it's true. It's true. I mean, we could go government numbers. That would be up even more from that.
Okay, I'll rest.
I'll rest. Becky, any
We are
questions?
covering some of those hours too from grants as well.
Correct.
We did find a way to bill some of, Annalise's and some of Jamie's hours through the watershed grants because they're doing obviously overhead admin related to those grants too, so.
Yeah, so the fiscal year 26, this is only district responsibility here, though. There's no grants written in. This is just billing directly to district, but if we get any of the lower grants down here in blue on the sheet, then I've got hours written into those. So that money would return to the district and I'd be invoicing those grants instead. So, yes, there's a lot of opportunity to move funds and pull from. I prefer to invoice to grants if I can.
Mhm.
So,
You're good at massaging numbers.
Well,
just trying
some
to,
guys can do it. The other ones can't,
Got it.
because they're looking for somebody else.
Okay.
Well, to be clear, they're still working for the district.
But you know what I mean? They're under the grant, so.
Yes.
Becky. Any questions? Give us a zinger.
The vehicle payments, repairs and all of that, those are under district budget, but those are offset with grant funds we draw down.
they,
Good question.
This is sort of a sticky, so one of the things in past appropriations is we didn't count mileage as income, but we were always pulling the $30,000 in vehicle payments and fuel expense from the district pot. And so this year, based on program, an approximation of what they're gonna invoice for mileage, I showed that as income to help offset the vehicle expense, but it doesn't fully offset.
So this 19.5 projection should offset some of those,
Correct.
but it wouldn't, it's never fully offset. That seems odd.
Is not a break-even situation. The district does pay.
For a decent, I don't know.
Yeah, a decent chunk.
Half
Yeah.
or so of the vehicle.
Yes, correct.
expenses.
Big third.
Yeah, that one's not a good situation.
Under the, so the appropriations. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Does that make sense the way I was explaining that?
It does, but I
Okay.
just want to make sure it's.
It don't make sense, but you have made it clear. Look, we're back up to you.
So just a minor thing for clarity. I would say the executive director and then director fringe should just say executive director fringe, just to reduce confusion with director line items. Because my first read through, I was like,
That'd be a good
director fringe, we don't
Right,
get fringe. Contextually, I was able to figure it out, but I think I'll make it clearer
Yeah, we
going
can.
forward. One of the questions I had was related to insurance. So we had a slightly higher total than anticipated for insurance this year. Insurance costs are broadly going up, just across every type of insurance, across every industry. And I see that we still have 17,000 budgeted. What is the basis for that? Why didn't we at least raise it to match our existing total? And do we anticipate any other possible changes on insurance costs that could come around to bite us later?
Well, Rivka, I asked for our insurance and I have it and it pretty
Okay.
much matches that, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
It's
I
like- it's less
asked,
than
we just
17
got.
For this,
Okay,
with the RAV.
so we just
I'll
got a
send
new
it.
quote
I'll send it.
from Fishers?
Yep.
I'm
I'll
sorry.
send it to you.
Okay, great,
And we,
fantastic.
we really tried to build the budget off of real numbers.
Yeah.
So every one of these line items, we went back through and said, okay, what are we actually spending versus
Wow,
what was
awesome.
projected to
Good
spend?
enough.
And there was and we highlighted for finance quite a few budget lines that were spent significantly larger amounts than what
Mhm.
was actually set for the previous year's budget.
Um. I have more questions, but Tim, go ahead, your turn.
Committee stipends, what really is that, or was that involved? $8,000?
So that's the same, was formerly a bonus for staff, and now all the staff members are on various committees. Marketing, plant and tree sales, all of those committees, and so that's what they would get at the end of the year for their committee
Gotcha. Thank
participation.
you.
If we're budgeting for the upcoming fiscal year and you are due for a review, I would expect your wage and fringe to be projected to be higher the upcoming fiscal year.
Yeah, I'm subject to the board, so I didn't change that.
But it's a budget. I mean, if for some reason
The
that doesn't
budget
come
can
to
change.
fruition, we don't have to expend it necessarily, but I feel as though we should budget for that eventuality, similar with bookkeepers. If we anticipate potentially making those increases in the upcoming year, we should be budgeting for those. Doesn't mean that we have to provide them, but we do need to budget for those. The money is there if we want to utilize it.
Yeah, we can
And
do that.
then, there's director development. Is there professional development for other staff members that are not covered under a grant or
No.
anything built in so that that is available if we should choose to use that?
No,
There's not currently in this budget.
What's the reasoning behind that?
Cause that's the way we've had it the last 2 or 3 years and it's.
The trainings are coming
Better.
in with their grants.
So the grants are changing and are
Then that'll change. Then it'll change.
recommending that they participate in training, but not dictating how that's spent. So there is available funds, but it's not dictated.
If it's in their grant, they go. I mean, that's the way it's always has been. So if a grant, I mean, yes, all the new grants that were previous, that have been written lately, say the last 2 or 3, the ones that we're shooting for now all have a few more things wrote into them that weren't wrote into them due to hindsight. So yeah, that's the way we have kind of the last, I think 2 budgets, we've had no line item in there for training, or I guess training, what's it under?
I mean, we definitely have a.
Well, we did a lot on. Jamie added, what'd you add for the,
Staff appreciation.
Staff
staff appreciation? You put that in.
But that was not designated for training or anything, just.
No, that was
just
more
like
of a team building.
But also, if he gets the grants, it'll also include raises too. So that's a bonus too.
So which staff are impacted by not being able to access professional development opportunities?
So we have Megan and Tracy are the 2 main ones. Obviously Annalise doesn't have any, but she's district staff. Everyone else has funds available for trainings.
Okay.
What if
We-
Annalise wants to do like a quick book
Yeah.
seminar or something?
I mean, I would say her position is one that's really critical to be able to have
Right.
training,
she sees something?
as.
I can ask.
Well, she can't ask if we don't
It's
budget
not in
for
the-
it. though. That's the
She can
problem.
ask
We
if
don't have
she
any
has
money.
invoice.
budgeted.
Right, but then it has to be like at least X amount of months out. Like if there's a situation where sees a training that's available next week, that's $75, she can't sign up for that because there's nothing appropriated, and unless we're having a board meeting within that next week of time.
That's why I want to look ahead to, potential staff raises, potential trainings,
Mhm.
because if we don't budget in enough revenue, then we have to make an amendment. We don't want to have to amend this budget all the time. So if we budget for things that we think we're going to discuss that may come up, then the money's appropriate and available. It doesn't mean we have to necessarily spend it in that way, but it's
Right.
there if we choose to. So I'd rather, I would rather, see the budget maybe a little beefier and come in under than have it be too thin and then be having issues later. I guess that's how I view it. I don't want to keep it too tight going into the year and then up struggling. I'd rather have it be a little bit broader and have the comfort of being able to scale back a little bit. That's just my personal.
Well, and honestly, from a grant writing perspective, if you have those things budgeted in, it can help provide justification when you're writing grant narrative
Right, yeah.
on how those funds are gonna be utilized, because they almost always ask, what's your existing budget? How is this represented within your budget? And if it's not represented within our budget, it makes Jamie's job writing those grants more challenging. So I agree with Becky. I think providing, Jamie the leeway to provide the adequate training and support for his staff as needed within, within reason, within like an appropriate amount. And then making adjustments as we need to, I think gives more flexibility, because we don't want to tie his hands in being able to do his job.
So I want to add to that a little bit. Back when we had our meeting for finance, we used to have a spreadsheet for training that I asked Annalise to get, and kept track of what everybody spent. And Matt wanted the thing with the finance committee, anytime anybody from the district wanted to go outside of the district for training, they asked the finance. That's been that way for a long time, right?
Yes.
And he wants to make sure that continues.
Do we have that
Necessarily agree
in
with
policy?
finance deciding when people can go to training or not.
Always was that way though.
Well, finance brought it, if
I'm aware it's only been, it's kind of newer thing towards the end of Megan's time, but.
Yeah, Megan's time, yeah.
But it was,
yeah, it's been the last, I'm gonna
Couple
say the
years.
last two, theoretically, I'm gonna say the two budgets. I guess don't quote me on that, but I believe it's been the
it did
last.
fall off during that when Natalie was here, because I think it was told that she could make decisions or something, but we didn't get kept up with.
But
Yeah.
you actually, when she was gone, were asking us, cause I got emails.
I think
from her.
maybe we kept it in there. Yeah, I just remember it not being like always kept up.
Well, because I think we had made a vote about giving Natalie the ability to do that, but this is part of the issue, is that committees are not able to, per the Open Meetings Act, are not able to make decisions. So they can only provide recommendations. So if there's something like that, that's going to be, like, we either have to have a policy that states, not board minutes, but like a policy in our policy book that states that that's the purview of the finance committee, or the purview of the executive director, which is the policy which is the thing I remember discussing, is that it was the purview of the executive director. But again, don't quote me on that. So that, if there's a question, if we are FOIA'd, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, that it is clear what our decision-making process is, and then we're not utilizing committee work to bypass the Open Meetings Act. And so it seems like that is something that, if we want to have a policy about, should be addressed as a policy, but then that has to be voted in to our policy book.
That's all functional stuff we can address at some point, but I guess my
Mhm.
suggestion would be is to look at, what our pay rates are. I would like to build a little buffer into those, so we have opportunities to provide those pay raises for people to go, if that's what policy supports. Those are all things functionally we have to address, but if the money's not there and appropriated for, I'd rather have it there and not need it than need it and not have it. And not an exorbitant amount, but some, and I'd like to see some things built in for our district employees who aren't dictated by a, grant, what their pay rate might be, and what you have to build in for that grant. Just put that in there so it's there, and so it's less icky when we need money and don't have it. I'd rather, have planned for it and not need it.
And there
It's all dependent, if the revenue doesn't come in, we don't spend it. I mean,
Yeah,
that's the
we
bottom
are
line.
voting to spend it.
No, we're voting to
We're
appropriate it.
If we
which
don't
is very
have it, we
different.
can't spend it.
Anything we've ever put in here before, it got spent. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
That's why it did get.
Yeah,
No,
that's why these numbers here, I'm like.
Well, that's why we have an executive director and a bookkeeper.
Well, yes and no, but anyway, so.
Jamie, do you think we're gonna do modifications on this? I mean, is that the board's goal to make any this is our discussion. This is like Tim and Rick and I, this is kind of our opportunity to weigh in, which in the future, I would like to perhaps have a work session in August.
Yep.
To discuss the budget, which we didn't have that opportunity now, and just and that's not on anybody at all. That's just how the year went. But in the future, I'd like to see a work session in August.
That'd be
Talk
good.
about all the things, and then like these guys do the hard work in the summer while we're out at the beach, and then we all come together and ask our
Kick the
questions.
can down the
and
road.
then Come back in September with
We
something
did.
that we've all weighed
Yeah.
in on a little bit.
And
better
that's
in
the
future.
suggested process for MDR. That's what I had, that's what they just, I got that late in the game, but definitely. We should have, should be, the meeting we're having now should have happened in August.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's okay, but just, I guess, so that leads to, do Tim and I and Rivka have the opportunity to maybe, add a little bit of context to this before it gets posted? And I feel like we do, I'd like to,
You're bringing it up.
yeah, I'd like to see some professional development built in there. I'd like to see that, the possibility to have wage increases built in there, so those aren't, giving us heartburn if those occur. I'd like to spend less money on vehicles, but I'm not sure that's a possibility. That's just something that's personally to me, it seems ridiculously high, but I'm not prepared to back that down because I don't know what those are. I don't have enough knowledge to say that's too much, that needs to be backed down. So I can't say that.
We're kind of gritting our teeth through until we get a couple of them paid for.
Yeah, we're about 3 years.
I know that's
Yeah.
that's not a
great.
great
We can
answer,
deeper
but
discussion
it's,
on another day, I'm not gonna lose sleep over that. We need.
we
vehicles,
have
that's
looked
okay.
at,
I need more now. I mean, look at how much you just spent on gas. We bought that new one and it's gone all the time, right?
The rat.
The rat.
so I guess with this being said,
Double booked off.
do you? This has been the recommendation from the finance committee. If you want to change a number, get talking, otherwise we're gonna be here all night. Or I say, lay it down. What do you want and what's that number?
I would like to see a minimum of a COLA increase, maybe cut
What's
a
a
couple
COLA?
points.
Cost of
Cost
living
of living.
adjustment.
Adjustment plus a couple points
Mhm.
added into pay. So it's there if we need it.
I agree,
And then I would like to see,
across the board.
So you're gonna
Well,
go
as
above
grants
the
go up.
contracts or the grants?
You go outside the grant. Where's that money gonna come from, girls?
Well, I
I
mean,
didn't say outside the grant.
no,
Oh,
I
you
see.
just said cost of living. You just
Yeah.
said everything's gonna go up. Well, if it ain't in the grant, it's gotta come from this board.
I wasn't referencing grants. I was referencing the district employees who aren't dictated, as I said just a few minutes ago.
Oh,
got
I thought you
employees that are
said
dictated
cost of
by
living on
grants.
everybody. All right,
I
go
didn't
ahead.
say everybody. I said cost of living.
But can't we
Well-
just leave this alone? And if that comes up, we address that on a board meeting and deal with it as it comes.
We can do that, but which is the better approach? I guess I'd rather
Well-
see it in there.
I get that, but
And then we don't have
I'm a
to
little
do it.
bit in Doug's camp. When it's available, it's readily more easily spent.
I don't
If you
disagree with
if you
you.
got 200 in your pocket, it's a lot easier spent than if you gotta go to the bank and withdraw 200 and go buy something, right?
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, but I guess I just feel, I would just feel better to,
Yeah,
and not
it's cover your
needed.
bases.
and you're right and I'm right,
I get it.
We
I
gotta
don't
vote,
disagree with you, but
we gotta vote to give them a raise, right?
yes, correct,
Correct.
agreements still have to go through the.
correct. The
So
work
if the money's
agreements, the
there, then we're
individual work
done, and
agreements.
then if
still
we
have to be
choose not
signed.
to, so that's a good point, Doug, so we could put it in there, like you're
Yeah.
saying, and then just make the choice at the time of an agreement, so.
The other thing that it gives us the opportunity to do when we have that written into the budget, in addition to making it easier to write grants, it also identifies really clearly, both for the board, who it's our fiscal responsibility to ensure funds are available, but also for Jamie, is to know what money we need to identify other sources outside of grants for. Like, we have a lot of knowns, we know what the grants are, we know what our, money from the county is. The things that we don't know are things like, how much are we gonna make on plant sale and tree sale? How much are we gonna make on the annual campaign? That's not budgeted in right now. So if okay, we want to provide COLA increases for district employees, and also some grants do provide for the availability to
Yep.
have raises
Which-
within the grant. I mean, that was one of our challenges last year, is that several employees could get a raise through their grant, but because we hadn't budgeted for raises across the board, we didn't want to create an unfair.
No, we couldn't
environment.
cover them. We couldn't cover because we had to
We
upfront the
didn't have
money.
the
That's the
money
reason
up
no one
front.
got it, is because
Yeah.
we didn't have the rainy day fund, the cash flow, the cash reserve to cover a quarter or a pay period. That's why.
So what
Okay.
I'm seeing right now, though, is that at this point, we do have a quarter's worth of funds that we can cover. So we don't have to worry about
And
that.
we
piece
have
of it.
heard that in the past. And
And behold, it
sometimes,
was a dream.
and fell a little short.
We've never put our $20,000 in the bank. have we?
We were promised and
have.
promised and promised, so.
but
I will say that the theory behind the finance committee bringing this budget to you is, show me the money, and then we'll go spend it.
Or I'm
We ain't gonna
Closing.
spend the money that we
might have.
might have a chance at. This is a fiscal responsibility of not spending money you don't have in your pocket yet. It's. We're the little kid standing in front of the candy store going, but next week I'll have 10 cents and I can do this. So that's theoretically, the idea behind this budget is we have been brought to us over the last umpteen years. If somebody wanted to go somewhere, if somebody wanted to leave the county or whatever the policy was, there isn't too many things this board has said no to, that, bring them to us. Like I say, there's not that many things we've said no to. Bring me that project or whatever you got going, and the board will do what they can if it's within their wheelhouse, and if they can afford it, this board has coughed it up, I think.
May I make a point of clarification, just really quick
Yes.
on the training stuff? I just looked up our most up-to-date personnel policy right now, and it currently states that the executive director has the supervision of determining training needs and seeing that training is provided. So that's the
what I
only time that
remember
I
being
found
in our
there, because I
policy.
thought that it had changed at one point. And so that's just what our most up-to-date personnel policy currently says.
So we will
Yes,
need
sir.
to make a policy change if we wanted to change that process.
I think we provided that information to finance just to share it, but yeah.
So I'd like to comment, just in general on budget development as we look at this. So
Can I interrupt you just a second, before you do that? I want to go back to something you said, just to make sure, hopefully it was inaccurate or I heard you wrong. You said that we had not budgeted, we don't know what we're gonna make on plant and tree sales, so we've not budgeted it.
No, I'm saying there are
Yeah.
flexible funds that we may raise above
wanted-
and beyond. Thank you for asking. for
Clarify, being first
clarification.
years for everybody. else, things
no,
change.
the-
Yep, we do
The
budget.
annual campaign Jamie had mentioned was not budgeted in, so I
Right.
strung all of that together but it was not one
I
thing, it
figured
was
that was
separate
the case,
distinct
but I wanted to
items,
be
so thank you for
100% clear.
clarifying.
Apologize,
no, that's okay.
but Jamie was gonna go.
Well, my original, end of that whole thought process before we got sidetracked was that, having an idea of, here's what our budget should be in order to provide for these additional things that we know are best practices for the district as a whole, gives us an opportunity to build annual campaigns around those specific goals, build grants around those specific goals, which makes it easier to get that funds. It's one thing to go to a funder or to go to an individual donor and be like, hey, we need money. Everybody needs money. It's, something very different to go and say, hey, like we saw with the truck, that's part of the reason it was successful, is because it was around a specific goal. And having specific things like that budgeted assists in Jamie's ability to raise additional funds.
Okay.
So this appropriations process is very similar to how nonprofits operate. And because we are because a majority of our funding comes through grants, it's normal to project out. We actually have more information than most nonprofits do, in that we have a clear designation of how much funds are coming in through indirects. It's a simple formula. We've already got the contract written with the grant. It's just, if we bill X amount of hours, then we get X amount of indirects on that. And so the numbers that we're looking at in green are just very real numbers. Like, we have a contract that states with the grant provider that these funds will come to us if we invoice properly, which we have been doing, thanks to Annalise and a great team that is doing that. So we have a lot of clarity. We also have the security of the Ottawa County 100,000. We have the security of the 40,000 from the state. And then we have a track record for plant and tree sales. Interest is just kind of a joke right there. But the reality is we have a lot of very clear funds that are as much of a guarantee as any business or nonprofit would have. Businesses project sales out all the time. Sometimes they don't meet their sales goals, sometimes they do. But the point being, this is this is a fairly fiscally conservative approach to an appropriations budget. And that doesn't factor in any other potential donations. Even if we get, just for example, we get one of all these grants down here in the blue, we could get another influx of 20 grand. So when we're doing appropriations, I always think of it as like an aspirational budget. Like this is where we want to be. If we're factoring in everything we could potentially spend in a year, we need to line those numbers up next to what we know as committed income. And so when we build it out, it's good to have those aspirational line items in there. And that's why you do quarterly check-ins for profit and loss. That's why you're reviewing the bills each month. That's why you're reviewing income flow. So I just wanted to make that point that it's a normal budget process for us to
And
do that.
following that, I would like to see, once we get things untangled and everyone has their feet under them, I would love to see, a periodic budget to actual. The
Yes.
profit and loss doesn't do that for me, so like, and I know it's hard because you're using so many different tools. I know QuickBooks is a trash tool for budgeting. It's good for classing. For budgeting, it's not, but I'd love to be able to see a budget to actual so we can track. And I'd
And
love to
support.
feel a little bit more confident in knowing when we need to or need not to amend the Appropriations Act.
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
statutory,
Mhm.
so I want to feel a little bit more confident in that. So I guess,
My preference, Becky, just to that point, is monthly. I'm kind of surprised we do it quarterly. I don't wanna like give Annalise the aneurysm, but that's been my preference. So when I'm in a nonprofit context, I need to know every month, like, where are we at? We're looking at the cash flow, like, it feels really bad this month because we expended a lot, but we know that that money's coming next month through this grant distribution,
I
so on
think
and so forth.
this organization is probably dynamic enough to warrant a monthly, like some of my programs are a little bit more stagnant, in the county, so we don't do that as regularly.
Yeah.
But I guess at the executive director's pleasure, I mean, it's you that develops this, but I would propose, looking at ops budget for FY 26 is proposed at $317,000. I would like to introduce 10% of that, so to the tune of maybe 7K to be there for potential raises, for potential training, however you want to build that in. And then if we need it, it's there, and we make that decision on a per work agreement basis. We make a decision on trainings and those kinds of
Well,
things.
can't we
but-
just leave that under a to be determined line, like, where did I see it?
Just
NACD,
right above in the blue.
Not counted towards.
No, not in the appropriation.
Yeah, not in the appropriations. What we have here in terms of
It would
budget
flow
line
into
is
that
suggested to MDR.
So I'd
So
like to
you
see-
mentioned trainings, like right now in the FY 26 appropriations, right now for,
professional develop, I should use it.
do we
wrong.
have an employee training? We don't, do we?
No.
Yeah,
Director development.
yeah,
But
so,
you have that in your grant.
right. Yeah, all of us with training in our grants. I'm just trying to clarify, like, which line items specifically on the district budget appropriations do you want increased or added
Well,
in?
that's what I was trying to get a
Yeah.
conversational starting point by
Yeah.
taking the
Mhm.
10% of the total operating budget.
And then find a
And then
place.
if we want to, just have that a restricted fund that we can then shift into comp and fringe.
As needed,
Shift into
kind of.
training as needed. We don't necessarily have to make that full determination right now, but we can earmark it, in some way. So it's included in the budget and it is, specific per, personnel, personnel other, or whatever you want to call it. And, we know internally if that's what it's for. I'd like to see that
It's
included in the
appropriated, it's spendable.
draft.
Okay, so how do we handle that if I disagree with that?
You can't
You gotta
disagree
bring
with it
that to a
now, you have
vote.
to disagree with it when we vote.
Well, I'm
Because
just
you got
saying,
that input on it.
I
And
mean,
you
again,
two-
I mean,
you two
I,
have developed
okay,
all of this, and then we're just having this discussion and understanding it.
Oh,
So now
yeah,
we're making
sure.
our recommendations as well.
so somebody
So those
taking
will get
notes of
built
this,
in,
let's,
so.
this is stuff we gotta vote on when we come back together,
Yeah.
yes or no?
Yeah, because the
Well,
hope is
make the
we'll
notes
have
right
the
now.
hope is we'll have a draft that everyone's gonna vote
You
yes
need
on.
to make a
That's my
draft right
Correct,
now,
well,
right?
yeah, so-
That you're gonna.
but
put
right
in paper,
now, we
so
don't.
You put it in right now.
So,
if
yeah.
we Come to this
I
next,
mean,
this special
I
meeting
have a
and
pen,
then
but-
nobody is agreeing on anything, then we have to have another Like the.
Well, that's,
Yeah.
I thought that's what we were doing here,
Yeah.
so that we can just show up 7 o'clock, by 7:15, we're done.
Yeah.
Theoretically.
So I do have
It
some
is-
more line item questions, maybe, maybe we'll identify some other possibilities. Some line item questions.
Okay, do we need to answer this question? To make you feel better,
We
me
need to
feel
come
better?
back to
It's
it.
I think
not
we need to come
questions.
back to
I'm,
it,
I'm
yeah.
recommending that that be put in it.
Yeah.
And Jamie develops the budget. I mean, I'm a board member just like anybody else. The
Yep.
finance committee makes recommendations.
Yep.
I have the right to make that, provide
Absolutely.
that input. And if
Right,
if
so
the
that
executive
input-
ever comes back and says, wow, that's hardcore stupid idea and here's why. You know, okay,
I wouldn't be that harsh.
I said executive director, not chairman.
So,
Instead if someone comes back and says it's a
Executive
stupid.
director.
Oh,
so 10% roughly, would you say 7,000? Just so I'm clear on what you're saying.
Yep, and that's
Roughly.
just kind of a,
And allocate that to potentially COLA and training, some sort of training.
potential merit raises, potential professional development.
Okay,
That's yours. Like Matt said, what if he doesn't like that? What are we gonna put in
Well,
the
we're
paper?
still discussing.
Yeah,
We're still
and we
discussing.
can't vote on anything.
This isn't any different, like you two provide a lot of.
Oh,
inputs,
yeah,
right?
we went through
Yeah,
this
so we all-
thing 20
So we're all
times.
providing some
yeah.
input now, because I have a reasonable amount of knowledge and
Yes, you do.
understanding of this,
Yes,
so I
you do.
feel like I'm okay
Yep.
with saying,
You've
I'd like
done
to
this
put
before.
7K into the $1.8 million budget you guys came up with. I mean, I think I'm okay with like suggesting that.
Yeah.
So,
yes, you
and I
are.
hope that it wouldn't be a deal breaker for our board to not be able to come around that. I mean, you disagreeing with me wanting it in there is no different than me disagreeing with the fact that you didn't include it. I mean, it's the same thing, right?
Mhm.
Two
Well,
sides
again,
of the
we're
same
still at a
coin.
stalemate. That's what I'm saying. How do we,
I guess it depends on who agrees with whom at the end
Yeah.
of the day.
okay, I guess that was my
But I thought
question.
we can't
We,
vote.
we have been talking about this for 20 minutes, this one question, so I'm like going, oh, man, how are we,
It's a-
How do you
someone
resolve
every-
it?
how do we resolve it? That's,
Yeah, that's true.
I think we
I have-
resolve it by
All right.
compromising and understanding each other and working together is how we resolve it.
I have a couple line item questions that maybe will help with this discussion about the appropriate amount. The board of directors, I noted that our spend was $2,500 and that was upped to $5,000.
I can answer that.
Yeah, see, this is why I have questions.
Perfect answer. So back when Megan was here,
Mhm.
we paid the finance committee
Mhm.
and
HR.
HR committee the same amount as having a meeting.
Mm.
And we took that away when she didn't have any money to pay the bills.
Okay.
So I said, as long as we got all this other money, throw it back in there. I gotta make the meetings. So I did. That's the reason. I mean, we put
Okay.
it back. We already approved it once. Not asking for back pay,
Mhm.
but just put it back in for next year.
So
If the
that's
Board member
for-
wants to use that money,
Mhm.
doing other things.
So the idea is that that's just
So you want
available.
more or less? I mean.
I was
you're-
just questioning
Yeah.
what the
What it is.
intention was.
Yep.
Yeah,
with
what it
that.
is.
I really
That
didn't
was
have,
that was our intention.
didn't have okay. Our current rent agreement, is that year to year, or do we have a term lease
It's
on
Year
that?
to year,
So,
and it's not raised.
we haven't heard an
Okay.
increase.
Right,
okay.
we've mentioned that, but
Have we?
it wasn't. raised.
Did he not
Okay, I guess
increase
that's
it?
why.
Last year, $50, right?
Yeah,
It's,
okay.
very modest amount.
Gonna say,
But
I
they
thought
just
we-
put the new parking lot in, so it might go up.
Okay,
Yeah, that's why it's
Um,
12.6 now. It was a flat 12 per year. and
Yeah.
Increased it to $50.
I think that the increase in the CPA consulting is because we're anticipating a single audit, correct?
No, actually, the audit amount went up to 12 based
Yeah.
on the federal audit.
Mhm.
The books, as you can see on our profit and loss, it always looks like we have a massive negative balance. And in large part, that's because we have unpaid invoices, that's how they're classed. All the way back to like 2007.
Okay,
Earlier, yeah.
say no
earlier
more.
than
I
that.
know exactly where you're
Yeah,
dealing with
so-
now.
That's what we talked about.
So that may or may not be spent, but we're going to consult with some
Budget, right.
Jenny
CPAs to
gets
see.
that fixed and figures out our accountant, then that can come back.
Do you, have you landed on an accountant that you
Not
feel
yet.
confident
So
about.
Natalie and I did one in our search,
Mhm.
for somebody to help us with this situation. Their recommendation was to start completely over. And then another company wanted $5,000 to look at our books to see if they would help us to look.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a maybe.
That's not the audit.
No.
Right,
that was
right.
the other line.
So I can
Fix the book.
pass on a couple of referrals because we went through this
Perfect.
whole search process at MACD.
Yeah,
And
there
I
you go.
have the team that we're working with at MACD that I've been really, really happy with. We had to do exactly that same thing with a lot of our
Mhm.
books. And we did have two other proposals that from people who work with conservation districts that were really good, that we were like, we think any of them could do the job. So
Yeah.
I can
Awesome.
pass on all three of those recommendations for
They need
review.
to get fixed.
My question is just curiosity is, are there any legal issues, anything like that, if we do just decide to start fresh,
Start tomorrow.
right?
I guess
And
so.
I know it's gonna be really annoying transferring over the classes and starting over, but what's the downside of it?
Honestly, I think that's an AD question.
Okay,
Um,
because we passed our previous audits. I mean,
I asked her
Yeah.
about that. though.
Yeah.
the,
And what
As
answer?
long as she was following the guidelines,
correct.
it wasn't that the books were correct, that we all thought were
Procedures that we're
correct.
following.
Yeah.
It was, she was following the guidelines.
Correct.
Mm.
A regular audit, that's really all they're looking at is, do you have checks and balances in place? Are you following them? That it's not really certifying anything about your finances. For a single audit, that is gonna radically change how closely those books are looked at. I also just recently attended a webinar about how to prepare for a single audit. Policies are a really big important piece of that. There's a whole long list of policies you have to have. So a lot of them we do have, like we have a procurement policy, for example. And you know, I think we're gonna be in good shape, but we do want to have that on our radar. But as far as can we just start from scratch, like you'd really have to ask Nadine, because that's gonna come under the stipulations of legal requirements under MDR.
I have a sneaking suspicion we will have to change some financial policy based on a single audit. I've done one before and who has account access to certain things. There's a lot of stipulations, a checklist. So.
So I'd call Nadine by 10 o'clock tomorrow. Get that question.
We were close for a while there. We met multiple times a week.
Exactly.
I just got to meet her baby last week. So cute. Okay, next question. I see this electronics has been expanded to electronics and printer contract. I'm assuming we have a new printer that has a contract.
No, not yet. So,
Okay.
so the machine we have, we own.
Okay.
But they're no longer providing maintenance to it because it's old.
Okay.
And so I don't know, Ben knows more about this, but we have replaced rollers on a regular basis. It's just kind of getting to the end of its life, so we would need to go into a contract on a new machine. Which they offer unlimited color printing, comes with toner, comes with all maintenance. So.
It looks like you combined QuickBooks into the software
Correct.
category. And obviously that whole list is like cut off. So just trust you that makes sense.
Yep, these were again, real numbers of what we were actually spending, and I'm not sure why it was a separate line item before.
On the memberships, it lists MACD and NACD, but that total does not match what we allocated. Is there also CEDM in there that maybe got cut off on the line?
It was, yes, and
Okay.
previous, in this current fiscal year, CEDM was on there. That was kind of a,
We talked about that in
Question
our
we
finance committee. Why are we in that now? Cause that's one raised to $35.
CEDM is required for employees to have access to the.
The health insurance, yes.
So
If you
yeah.
don't have membership, then
I'd like to keep my
employees
health
don't
insurance.
get access to health insurance. And as far as that professional development, being a
We
member of
didn't
CEDM,
exactly know. what it was.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
Forgot it was the insurance thing.
Yeah, and being a member of CEDM also makes staff available for scholarship dollars from CEDM for professional development as well.
You guys know all that?
So is that $35? Is it per employee that wants to?
Per
Or is it
employee
per-
per year.
Yeah,
Okay,
and the district itself has to have its own membership.
okay.
So we're gonna need to adjust that line to reflect that equipment.
Right.
And this is $35 person or $35
Per person.
Per person.
Okay.
Per year.
Yeah. Which is really a deal for health insurance.
Right.
At least at the district.
Yeah.
We'll adjust that line accordingly.
The board training is at $100.
But that was on there to discuss,
Okay,
cause I can't remember where it started out. It was pretty high.
okay.
So
What
it's
do we
$100 to
anticipate the
discuss.
$100
It
to?
We had
We
to,
didn't
we had
wanna-
to put a number in there to hold the line.
We-
Otherwise,
that's
the
what it
line
was.
went away.
It was
Last
not to
year, there
eliminate
was
the line.
Not, there was nothing
Yeah.
there, but it was still a line
Okay.
item.
Okay. I mean, I think training and development is pretty important for everybody, and staff, directors, et cetera. Right now, this director training is available that you actually can get paid from MDR to go to.
I thought it was only the first few people, wasn't it? $75?
It's not a few people. It's enough that we could still have 10 more people sign up for every single training. And it's $75 for the 3 regional trainings. It's 150 or 125. Now I haven't gotten enough sleep, but it's a higher, I think it's 125 for the annual meeting, if you go to the annual meeting. So, I mean, that obviously, if you go and stay the night so that the hotel is like $98 a night, and your gas. So probably $125 isn't gonna fully cover all of your expenses, but it covers a huge portion of it. And if we had even, $500, so $100 per person to spend on whatever training, whether that be going to an MACD event, but it also could be taking an online course in a specific area that would be helpful, for us, each of us individually, in our role. If we're like, I feel like I'm having questions about this all the time. Maybe if I took a webinar class that costs $100 that it would better educate me, we'd be able to shorten the time of the meeting. So I guess we'd have less questions. I just think there's a lot of opportunities there for training, for both board and staff that is valuable. There's a good ROI on in both cases. It allows us to be more efficient, effective, find additional revenue sources, be better at our job as directors.
Could we put in there, if there's a number in there, could we put I'm just gonna pull one out here, $250 per board member? At $100 per board
Yeah.
member, not 10,000 for all of us and it's an end, but it's
Mhm.
each, if Tim wants to spend his $200 and
Mhm.
go do whatever, that's his thing, but you don't get to spend 500 and me nothing and that type of thing. So I mean, is there a way would that have to come back to policy? We'd have to have a policy that stated that it's,
Probably.
I mean, this line item of just.
Unless you had a line item for each
Right.
board member.
I mean-
that would
Well, I
somewhat
mean,
simplify
not
it.
necessarily, like, there's plenty of these line items like software that, there's just understand, it's kind of like, in most cases, Jamie is the arbiter as the executive director. I mean, in this case, I think we'd just be the arbiter amongst
Okay,
ourselves.
so
But I think per
if there's
person
5 of
is
us,
a really good idea.
if
because-
there's 5 of us and we write $1,000 in there.
Mhm.
And 4 of us don't go nowhere and someone spends
900.
900, well, then we
don't.
went away from
No,
our
like-
issue here.
Yeah, I mean, we have $250 per person. That's pretty clear to me. And if somebody is like, I'm not gonna use mine, does anybody want to do an extra thing? We could discuss that as a board. But I mean, honestly, I'd prefer that all 5 of us engage in some kind of professional development on an annual basis anyway. I think it's good practice.
So this would be the bucket, and then we could do individual probably board members' line items in QuickBooks and track it that way.
That would be in our training book.
I mean, I'd be good with that, but I just don't want a board member showing up in 1 year, two, I mean, I guess it goes year to year, but I
Well,
mean.
I
and
mean, I
going, hey,
wouldn't-
you know, there's
yeah.
money left in that account. Why can't I go to this? I mean,
Well, I think you guys can certainly discuss at future
Right.
meetings
Right.
how that's decided on,
Correct.
right?
I mean, I think we can just discuss at future meetings. We don't need a line item. I mean, if we want to discuss at a future meeting that we want to go to a training, then bring it to the meeting. Like I said earlier, we very seldom have said no to a lot of things.
I mean, I would
So-
throw out the challenge, like I said, I would think it would be great for each of us to identify an opportunity for professional development on a yearly basis as like a standard practice. I think that's best practice for boards. And if we set that up and it's like, hey, everybody has $250 spent on professional development, figure out a way to spend it. Figure out a way to develop yourself as a board member. I think that's really good practice.
So again, with appropriations, we have to set the buckets in advance. That's part of the appropriations process. I know we can make amendments mid-year, but the ideal situation is having a sense of what real expenditures could be aspirational. And then as the year goes on, you make correction where you say, okay, yes, we had allocated X amount of dollars in board training. As it turns out, the federal government froze this grant and we're not getting, so we know that we're gonna have to reduce our expenses. We keep that bucket, but we just determine as a board that we don't spend from that bucket based on cash flow.
We can do this another direction. This is gonna come out sounding really weird. Pay ourselves more. And then that person could take said paycheck, we talked about it earlier. Some give it back to the board, some give it back to the conservation district, some pocket it. You know, go do your self-development thing, or, you know, again, I mean, we're back to.
Committee.
Are you looking for a pay?
That we
I'm
don't
sorry?
pay
Are you
tax
looking
on.
for a pay raise?
Well, I'm just saying, it's the
Well,
same
right,
thing if
yeah,
we're
we have
gonna.
to pay, that's true. We have, it then becomes something we have to pay taxes on, not something that's just going directly to that development.
That's a
And
good point.
I also think there's a value in just incentivizing and saying, as a board, we believe in being the best board that we can possibly be. And part of that is,
So shoot a
learning new
number
things.
at Jamie, so he's got something to put in that book.
I like your suggestion of 250 a person as a starting point. I think
That
that's
was
a
okay,
reasonable
that
starting
was- I said,
point.
I just grabbed that number from nowhere, so.
$1,000.
Like, I think we can, you know, evaluate it next year when we see what works. And to your point, if somebody finds something that's like, oh, hey, I found this training that's 280 and I really want to go, then we can discuss. But I think that sets a good,
So right
like,
now, we
starting
only
point.
have MACD conference meetings, right?
Well, there's
Well, I
all
mean,
kinds
there's
of webinars, you can
unlimited
find
opportunities
endless
for.
stuff.
Yeah,
out
there's-
there.
HR settings, are there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the MACD conference covers all those topics, but that's a personal choice. Like, if there's something else you guys would rather do, like, to me, it's not about the conference per se, it's about ongoing development as a priority and a value that we hold as a board.
All right, how many more you got?
Director development, 2,500. Is this another case of it should say executive director?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cause that was also like when we had board training and then board of directors and then director development, it's like,
Mhm.
what are we
Yeah.
discussing here?
Is that all the same budget line? Yeah.
And that's for your professional development, correct? Cool. MERS is on here, but doesn't have a dollar amount allocated.
Nobody signed up for it.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
So do we need a dollar amount to put in there?
What's their contribution?
Yeah, is it, I was gonna say, is that?
It's their
It's
con-
really
it shouldn't
Yeah,
even-
I'm not
It
sure.
honestly shouldn't even be on there.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that ended up on there because it wouldn't make sense to.
Yeah, cause that's what I thought. I thought it was
Employee
based on
We
employee
don't pay it, yeah,
contribution.
we're not-
So we actually should just remove that from the line. item.
Scratch it.
Those are all my line item by line item questions. Thank you.
Tim, you got any more?
Well,
Yes. Becky,
Amy, on the right-hand side, that by 26, the district total 317,000. That is projected expenditures, correct?
No, that's projected income.
That is correct, projected revenue, is that?
Revenue,
Some
yeah.
of this,
From that yellow box
Yes.
on the bottom on the left.
Mhm.
on that
Yeah,
same
and,
sheet.
and that would be, again, from.
so this
from-
feeds revenue and,
Yep,
okay, so you're, and then your. Okay, I just want to make sure I was reading that right.
That's a
And
pretty
that-
skinny budget.
So that
Yeah, you got
13
13 what we got left.
goes on.
Well, we just knocked some off because we added money to it.
That's what I'm saying. That's a pretty skinny
Yeah,
budget.
down
So
almost
we
over
ain't put a lot of
10,000.
money in there. Yeah, it's like,
Splitting
don't mess
hairs.
up.
but
That's
again,
Before we did Coke. What
Generally,
would
you
you call it?
appropriate a year,
Cola.
you're supposed to have.
yeah,
You-
I first time I heard that tonight, so I'm.
generally you expend to zero.
We have that recorded.
Generally you expend to zero.
Or we did.
But that also doesn't factor it. So this is what we know as regular committed
I'm
income.
a country kid to town.
Then there's all these potential other line items that, so if we do really, really well, we're gonna actually have a very large chunk of money
Perfect. Let's
left.
get that to
So-
300,000 on the bottom here.
It's very dependent on grants.
Well, that's what we hired
So-
Jamie for. At least doing the day to day.
On the act itself, I believe the general fund revenues should not be ops, it should be total budget, but double check on that. Section 5 and section 6 do not reflect total budget, and they should. Section 9, we have to make an election there, option 1 or option 2, they're both currently included. And then section 3 reads weird, and we might want to clarify that, It says the board director, there's 5 of us who is being tasked with fiscal officer, so we want to clarify
So,
that.
so this was the one they gave us for plug and play.
Yeah,
So,
well, you can't trust everything plug and play,
so
so,
just,
yeah.
just reword.
Well,
it.
I mean, it is plug and play, but this is the wrong number. That's just operations. This should be total budget.
Yes.
We're
Okay.
appropriating all of the money that
Yes.
comes in and all of the money that goes
Okay,
out.
yeah,
And then section 9, you make an election of how we're gonna make budget adjustments. So we as a board need to determine whether transfers shall not be made between budget line items appropriated
Right.
without prior board approval.
right.
Generally, if we're gonna, well, between line items, I think probably we should, at this moment in time, probably go with option 2 versus having the chief administrative officer, you have the authority to make those transfers among line items. So we probably want to go with option 2. Again, we're
Right.
not voting on this, but you know, that needs to be clarified before we pass and sign the act.
So based on everything that we discussed, I would be in favor of Becky's suggestion to add $7,000 for personnel. I think that's still very conservative. That's well within the projected budget, particularly considering all the outstanding grants. It's very hard for me to imagine a situation in which we get none of these grants. We have a very high approval rate for an application. We're functionally giving ourselves close to $3,000 raise within this as directors for committee participation and other items, which I support and I think is fine, but I think we need to demonstrate that commitment to the staff as well to provide resources for them and not just give ourselves the benefits, but also give staff the benefits because they're working really hard and I think that's still a very conservative number. An additional $7,000 in appropriations does not give me any pause in context of this larger budget.
We did receive that Sigma DNR.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that you'll see that SISMA DNR subaward, that's gonna jump up to the top, so that's gonna increase the overall income at 1,500, roughly 1,500, $10 short.
I don't know how we can do the wage thing outside of, I'm not talking Annalise or Jamie, the wage thing outside of our grants. Without someone,
Well, we can't.
because,
Well, I want,
but then it brings up other things from other people, like he's making more than me and why ain't you paying me? Right now, they're locked into their grants.
I just want
hire
to make
in
sure
that.
that we have a situation that if their grant allows for a raise, we're able to give them that raise.
We've never said no before, ever.
Well,
Last year.
last year we did.
So,
That was Natalie's choice, though.
So, but
we
if
as
the
a board
grant
can do
allows
that.
for the wage, there wouldn't need to be a place in.
that has nothing to do with
Right.
this actual
Right.
budget. yeah.
So then making sure that we have the space to do that for the employees that are not covered by.
Yeah, that was
Grant.
that's what I needed clarified. So this 7 grand you guys are talking about, this would really only apply to Jamie, Annalise, and anyone else that might have wages coming from districts.
For wages and professional development.
It's just Annalise and
Jamie
Jamie.
kind of talked too.
For the district staff or for people whose grants don't offer professional development.
Well, I would say if their grants don't offer, then yes, we would want, because we have a vested interest as a district to make sure that our staff is well trained, regardless of whether their grant recognizes that or not.
Right.
Side note, Jamie, are you in writing grants, working on looking particularly for private foundation grants that have more flexibility? You can often include a portion, as I'm sure you know, of things like, the audit, the accounting, the insurance in those grants as well, so we can start moving some of those expenditures off of district funds.
Yeah,
onto
so,
grant funds.
so even in, for example, even in the NIFWIF grants, several of those, I wrote in all of QuickBooks into one of them. I wrote Canva, other various things, cell phone reimbursements, all of that kind of stuff. So I will expense as much of that out through grant applications as allowable by the grant.
So Tim, I think as we get some new grants that have a more experienced grant writer who has a wider diversity of skill set with writing grants, that we'll be able to move some of those funds out of district funds into grant funds and free up some more available dollars.
All right, in the essence of time,
Yeah, but
because it's clicking away on us, we got a whole other page to get through. Have we covered the budget, appropriations budget thoroughly?
Well, I think the only
Enough
question, the only
get us to
question
the
is,
meeting.
are we gonna put that 7,000 in the version that goes out in the paper? Like, do you guys, at this point, do you guys feel comfortable with that?
Was not in there either.
1250 for
Yeah.
what?
Was not in there either.
Well, the,
You're increasing that by, or 12,000, thank
Two,
you. You're increasing that by
$1,250.
$1,100. Whatever it is.
so does everybody feel comfortable with making those amendments to what's posted and what we have to vote on?
I mean,
In
this is not a vote. This is just,
Correct.
we're just gonna go.
Temperature check.
Yeah.
Is everybody
Well-
good with that?
I'm not in favor of the whole $7,000 thing.
What's your counter proposal, Doug?
I'd like to see what Jamie can earn and do the $500 thing at the end higher.
So what?
So I don't feel comfortable with
This-
us giving ourselves raises without
I don't mind taking
allocating
that.
funds
I
for
don't-
district raises.
Well, the district people, I don't know, put it this way. Please don't take it this way.
And don't say
Or-
it that way. Doug.
If you have a person there, and I ain't gonna name no names, there's people here that can make a good living on it, and there's some that can't, but they're accepting that job. But there's all different pay grades. And that is what it is. I mean, you take
Yeah,
that
but
job.
that's part of what we want to do as a board is incentivize people to stay at those jobs. Because if they take that job and there's no room for advancement and they don't get that means if there's no cost of living wage, that means next year they're making functionally less than they were the year before.
See, that kind of bothers me, you put that in a cost of living raise. So then the district's liable. It's kind of like our benefits that we pay. We say 5%, everybody gets 5% for healthcare and they get 5% for retirement. But is that all included in all grants? No,
It is.
Jamie told me it is, but want to see that for sure. I asked him to see that and he was not showing me.
At
Not
least
happy
in the
about that,
N-word grants, I can tell you.
I mean,
but I'm
the-
just saying,
Their fringe rate.
Okay,
yeah,
It's their fringe rate. Yeah,
Yes.
that's the
Yeah.
mechanism.
The,
Fringe rate
the
is-
conservation
Well,
district cannot afford to pay cost of living. We can't afford to go
So if,
above and beyond what their grants have gotten them. I mean, there's just
right, but
no
we're not talking about
sustainability
grants,
to
we're
that.
talking about district staff. Right now, we're talking
I
about
know.
district staff.
I haven't gotten a raise in 2 years at my place.
Well,
I
then
got
you need to go
my-
look for another job, Doug.
But I'm just talking, doesn't happen everywhere.
So I'm just throwing out a number real quick because I heard the word compromise several times. I just did some super quick math. If we're talking about two people in particular. And again, this is literally just me throwing out numbers. This is your guys' decision. You throw room in there for an extra $1 an hour for two people plus fringe, that equals out to about over 80 hours per year for two people. That's like $5,200.
Mhm.
Somebody said 7,000. I'm just throwing, what if you throw 5 in there, 5,200 in there?
But you put two people $1 raise, what about the other ones? They're all gonna want money.
Well, but they're not under district funds.
We're just talking
When we
about.
give
the-
them
If
a-
we're talking about a
raise,
line item
right.
for the district expenses, we're only talking about these two people.
So here's where I think the confusion is. The proposal for the COLA is for district paid employees, just two people, right? Is that what
That
you're
we
saying?
can't write into a grant, right? Because we can write raises into, like, a lot of these are annual year-to-year grants. So when we write the grant for the next year, we build it in.
Is there
And
enough
we
money
have
in
a
that
new
budget to
rate.
pull another, we've juked and jived and we took, I mean, is there $7,000 worth of room in that budget?
Right now, we're profiting, right? I'm just using that word, 13,745. Really, it's more like 15,000 because that 1490 from the
It's not
DNR
moved.
subaward actually does need to be moved.
Well, we spent an extra $1,000 on board. We spent some extra money here, that, I
The
mean,
only thing we adjusted from that is
It's-
that is the 1250 for the
Yeah.
board training. So
if
that
we had that-
1250 plus 7 is 850.
Yeah.
That's still not even half of what our already anticipated additional is.
I think we're arguing about what ifs. Let's pass the budget. And if we have to change it 6 months down the road for whatever reason, it is changeable.
Yeah.
Story.
so,
It-
so again, what do we put? What do we put in the budget that goes in the paper next week? Do we put this $7,000 in or don't we?
My vote as written.
So it's not a vote. Suggestion.
I
His
suggest,
temperature, his temperature, his temperature says.
So that means we're not including, we're leaving it $100 for board
yep,
training.
So you each get
$10. What did they get $10?
No,
I can have mine.
I think we need to take into consideration all the conversation that just happened over the last,
Hour and a half.
yeah, hour and a half. And it's not hard for me to go in and say, okay. The suggestion was 7K roughly for COLA, professional development,
Merit.
merit. So those are the 3 line items, divide that money out, increase to 1250. And then the other thing was $35 per person for CDM.
Mhm.
Then it's my job to reconcile the budget and look and say, okay, are we over projected income? Or are we under? If we're under, then that means we're still posting a positive technically. Because again, it's aspirational.
Based on those numbers, we're still in the black. Like
We're
we
still in the
have
black
room
plus 7 grand.
within this
Wouldn't it look a
existing
little
budget.
bit to the public to be a little bit in the black instead of the red?
Well, yeah,
means we're
but,
not using it.
it also, it looks good to the public that we are being good stewards and utilizing
We
all
didn't have to
possible
change ours
funds
last year.
towards moving.
We were
That
good.
that
It-
could be taken two ways.
All right, hang on.
They should come proposing something that they like and let the other board members have an
I
opportunity.
100% agree.
Right, so,
Because you guys both just said that you don't care for my suggestion. So I'm just sharing with you that as finance committee, when the HR committee comes to you with a policy, we don't come and say, this is how it needs to be. Everyone has to weigh in. So this is my opportunity to weigh in on this. I
But
think that
you're-
it's important.
all right, hold on.
If the-
Now,
if
we
the
gotta
vol-
figure
Let
out,
me finish, Matt. Please, let me finish when I'm speaking. If they work, that is my suggestion. I'm simply asking for the opportunity to contribute to the building of this in the very small way that I can, because I don't understand the numbers like you guys do. But I do understand some things that are important to the district, and I do understand budgeting, and I do understand appropriations. That's all I'm asking.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, you know,
hold on.
Seven,
or Matt can finish because I. just-
We spent an hour and a half on this, so we're putting this thing to bed. What do we put in the paper tomorrow? On this, I'm sorry, but I've been for the last 2 months working on this thing. And it's time that we all make a big boy decision. And what are we gonna have them put in the paper? We ain't gonna discuss nothing anymore.
Yeah, we're putting in my $7,000 and the additional board, and that is what we post and vote on.
And the study.
Done. Move on, next order of business.
Can I ask a question about that?
Yes,
though?
the CEDM.
No, we'll talk about it at the next meeting when we bring up, when we vote on this.
I ain't gonna be, so. That $7,000, is that going for these two or everybody?
These two.
District.
That's
Yes.
where I was
It's going to the
confused.
possibility of
Right,
them.
it's
too.
available.
That's the way I read it.
Available for raises
And have their
and
pay
professional
dictated by a grant.
Before that before
If you
that
guys
happens,
choose
that
not to
has to
give
get
them
voted
raises,
on,
it
correct?
never comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you determine my salary. I don't get to fiddle.
Yeah.
That's why the number is exactly the same as I was hired in on, because
But
it's
it
up to
makes it
you.
available so that we can do that without going through the hassle of an appropriations change. And we
We spent
have
an
the
hour and a half on
existing
that, let's
budget
move on.
to do it.
We didn't spend all the hour and a half on that either. We were discussing numerous. other
Plus,
things.
you know, this is a big budget. We
We
should
were.
expect.
Human
it.
Resource Committee, what's your report?
What do we say, Becky?
We say that we follow on that Jamie has already confirmed that he's done most of the staff reviews. There's one more coming up. Tim and I are gonna set a time with Jamie.
Yes,
and
we're working on it, but we didn't make it happen.
90-day review. And I will be assisting Jamie with the MDARD operations elements review. And we are gonna start picking up working on the necessary policies to sustain a single audit and also to make other ongoing changes as a job.
Work
And
agreement.
Tim has done a very good addition. You've been doing very well, responsive and supportive. So I appreciate that. So hopefully that will continue.
Work agreement. Good.
That's good.
We good? Work agreements.
So, you have all of the work agreements in your little folder there.
So we don't get them?
My understanding is that we only ever furnish one copy to be signed and that they are passed around on an individual basis based on review. That's what I was told. I-
Generally, they're put in the packet, but
Yeah, we don't know what they say.
that's all right.
So want me to make a copy quick?
Nope.
Well, it would have been nice to see.
No,
them
I know.
sooner.
Again,
Yeah, that's.
No,
okay.
that's fine, but,
so the work agreements, anyone who is grant funded, any pay increases determined within that are expensed out to their grant. The only one related to district is obviously Annalise, and that would be the change in her role. The her pay breakdown, what grants is invoiced to is on that work agreement. Obviously, I don't have a work agreement in there because we're not to that point yet. So
so what do I do with these?
Feel free to pass.
I have a question.
So I got a question.
Good.
So I asked Jamie for copies of the work agreements, past pay, and current pay. I didn't get them.
we did
This
provide.
HR committee has not seen that, right?
Correct.
Can you guys put this up till you meet with the budget and review?
We can do whatever we like. They typically are provided in the packet and we typically each review.
Right.
them. We did it this time just because of procedural oversight. So if we want to table
I
those
think,
and approve them
I
for
would
next
be most
meeting,
comfortable with that.
that would be
Yeah.
a good idea.
because I think some of that too, if we're, I think the wording that in the grant part, or when you write that in there, that one's working on too. Like Annalise said, some of her time is gonna be in there for other grants. That should be, because when we sign that for the district, we're responsible.
It is in there, each one of those. So I can.
I
just
don't know,
Email
what's in
those
there,
to
so
you.
that's why I'm asking, you know,
Yes.
just saying that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I think you guys should have been, you know, involved in that.
I don't think it was an intentional.
I'm not saying that. I'm not
Okay,
saying that.
that was the tone I was.
No,
giving. It was
it-
intentional. I just want to clear.
No, I didn't like that I never got sent the stuff that we asked for in our
Do you
meeting.
need a motion to pen that, Matt?
Well, there's nothing, there's no motion,
No motion, no current motion.
no current motion
To approve
to
them.
do anything with them. It's just,
Yeah.
I guess it's here for discussion. So there is,
So this is, if he did them and seen them, should the HR committee see them, approve them? And then it comes to the full board for a vote? Is that what you're asking?
I think as long
How
as
do you
we have a
think it-
chance to review them ahead of time, like we normally do, we can just vote on them
Yeah,
at the
I mean, I
29th
guess
meeting.
we've always had eyes on them prior to the meeting and we could come with our questions.
Okay.
That was my mistake and
No problem.
I'll send them out.
It's really
for
a
your
big
review.
one. I'm not gonna sleep in.
Yep.
So
Should
I
we
guess,
talk about these? Do you wanna talk about, at least going full time? What's in there?
I have not reviewed it, so
Yeah,
I guess I'm
okay.
not prepared
All
to
right.
be able to discuss those.
all right, so there's really no.
Pass.
I'll send those to you
There's
tomorrow.
really no nothing we can do with them and we don't.
And especially.
Robert's rules orders, I mean, there's really no motion on the floor, so it's for information. You'll see them in the next days.
Doug, to your point, we did furnish the document that showed their original pay at the last finance meeting with their proposed rate increase
But I
and
wanna
how it was
see,
funded.
like, how Annalise did it, like she just did for years on the budget. And her pay, to make sure that all aligned with the grants. Because right now, there was one person that was the district, even, I don't know. There was one person that we had to pay, what, $1,400 to last year out of the district because of a mistake.
That needs to go before the HR committee.
Yes.
And I see that one's on top here, so I'm assuming it did not get,
That we discussed and approved
Oh.
the approach
Yeah.
to ameliorate that. And I did not review the final work agreement, but the solution that was shared with both you and Doug, Tim and I both greenlighted.
We
Yeah.
just got the thing sent and was taken care of.
taken care of.
It comes out of the grant. Was,
Okay.
Yeah.
They found a
Again-
different avenue. To
Well,
get
again,
to
I
the
mean,
same
there's a lot
destination.
of different definitions of taken care of, so that's good.
Yes.
There isn't anything else in here other than work agreements, isn't it? Correct?
there's a 3/9,
There was something else I need.
not a
to sign?
319, a
116.
116. PA
right.
116.
Let's, not that they're not important, but we're gonna breeze through the grants.
These are the
in a
same
timely
as,
fashion.
these are the same as last
Mhm.
round, other than the NACD one, which there's not a lot of information.
But you got the info about that webinar coming out. Jen.
Correct. Yep.
All right, and then does that bring us all the way to board updates, or do we need to be that's all of them, correct?
That's it.
All right. 2-minute board updates. Or have we had enough talking about each other, for each other, to each other?
Go ahead, fire.
I'm good. I'm out.
I just have one quick thing. Muriel had noted in her report request on advocacy, and I just wanted to say MACD is actively engaging in advocacy on both the state and the federal level to protect funding for forestry, for invasives, for 319 projects, which are also currently under threat, as well as a couple other revenue sources that are directly impactful to districts. So we're on it.
Should give out.
And I don't even think that was 20 seconds, so.
Tim,
I'll just say Becky and I have been remiss with the HR committee and we're working on it.
remiss.
We'll do due diligence to make it happen.
Perfect. Doug,
Any confession?
Hey. Truth's the truth, no matter how
Thank
you
you.
slice it. No, thank you.
and I look for,
PA 116.
116 is just.
Who's farmland agreement? What is that?
That one, we normally see that.
Open all, isn't it?
And there's supposed to be a name on there or
That's what I guess,
I don't know what farmland agreement, is, or is that a?
Yeah, there,
That a-
is
it's,
it in here?
yeah, it's in there. It's, it wasn't as clear because there was a farm name last time. It's farmland agreement Ashley Aaron's,
Oh, the Morans, yeah.
but there's no. And then it's, so I don't know what farm.
It should be mapped out in the application. Can you have a look real quick, would you? I've already reviewed it. This is just for the county, I reviewed these with the county.
So what is our role in this, Becky? Why does this come to the Conservation district.
It is really so perfunctory. It's
What does that
really-
mean?
It means it's really pretty meaningless. And if we don't
We-
provide a letter, it'll still go to the
It'll
state.
still,
and they'll
it'll still go through.
So it's just an opportunity for the planning commission and the conservation district to provide any sort of input they
So
like.
why do we need to know? I guess that's my question.
We don't have to handle them this way. We could have them handle them administratively. It doesn't have to go to the board. The reviewing bodies can choose. how
Well,
they
as a
want to.
farmer, I'm always curious,
I
right?
basically took I looked at the applications for like 10 minutes, make sure it's actually obviously
Written out.
farmland,
Yeah.
and the application is filled out correctly,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay.
that's
They're just
about-
looking for somebody to find something out.
Yeah, if there's
This is what we
something
do.
So it's just another tier of
glaringly
inspection.
obvious,
Yeah.
you know, in the application or whatever, yeah, we'll note it and send it to the town.
All right, do we want them to come before this board? Do we want?
I like it, yeah, but I like to know who it is, that's all.
And it can just be an FYI, just present them and then Ben
That
can
goes in
continue to
every board
prepare the
packet.
letter.
Right?
Correct. It has.
I did not
passed.
see that on the board packet.
It was
There
not
was
in this
also-
board
It
packet.
wasn't.
That's-
It was not.
And that's why I'm asking the question. Would you like to see it in your board packet?
I
Yeah,
would,
I'd like to see it.
Okay.
Keep it or put it in the board packet.
It's always been.
that fair?
All right, now we have, next meeting, October 14th, but
No, September 29th.
Mhm,
You gotta post that.
mhm.
Well, you
that's a
can
pretty
post the
important
budget.
meeting. Is there a date that all of us can be here for that meeting? I'm sorry, but as much,
Not before the first.
Does it have to be before the 1st of October?
It does.
Well, and it has to have enough time to
Have
be
to have it
noticed
to
in the
have
paper, because otherwise September 15th works, but there's not enough time to notice it in the paper.
I'm sorry, but I
The
mean, that, I mean,
30th would also work, the 26th I
can't
can
do-
do. I
What
can
about
do
the week before,
weekend.
24, 25, somewhere in there?
I'm leaving on the 24th and returning on the 30th.
Can we do it
23rd was not
in
an
the
option?
morning?
I said it.
7 AM on the 24th? What time are you leaving?
Come on.
I mean, I started work at 3:30 AM this morning, so.
No, I think I got it early out.
What's wrong with the 23rd?
I will be out of town. Let me see what time I can get back. Maybe I can be back in the evening.
Next week,
If we did it at a 7, I could be there on the 23rd. I would just have to
Doug, are you in town on
not
the
stop for
23rd?
gas any more
yes,
times than.
7 at night or 7 in the
Becky?
morning?
PM.
Night.
On the 23rd, I could do 7 PM. I'd be
It's
rolling
Rosh
in
Hashanah,
from Jackson, but I can do
Okay.
that.
What holiday is that?
That's the 22nd.
It's a Muslim holiday, isn't it?
Yeah, the 22nd, I will be gone. Like, I will be gone overnight on the 22nd to the 23rd.
Tuesday, the 23rd. Was that work like for you, Jamie?
Does that give enough time for the paper and all that?
I gotta believe it would.
I would hope
Even if we
so.
put it out
I-
there, it's out there.
I would hope
It's like
so.
when you-
Put it in Cooper's Zones, no, that takes too
You
long.
can check with
That's
the
once a
paper,
month.
see
It's
who
every
posted
2
the
weeks.
quickest
Yeah.
and posted there.
Yeah.
So call the
Yep.
Sentinel, see who's going to print the quickest and put it in
Okay.
whoever goes the fastest.
That's a good idea.
Yep.
So Tuesday, the 23rd, 7 PM here.
Okay.
Duly noted. Any motion to adjourn?
Yes, that would be very nice.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second that.
Would you like that?
Thank you, Rivka.
Or text you.
Thanks, Jerry.
Don't leave.
Meeting room.
Just gotta check.
I'll send it to you.
Don't
Thank you,
leave.
Jerry. Don't leave.
Thanks, Jay.
Got money.
Boy, he really didn't know what to do.
It's tonight.